Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rammys. Welcome back. It's been a whole year since the last Rammys Awards ceremony. Can you believe it? Where does the time go? Honestly, 2024 is over almost. And today, well, we're going to, I suppose, celebrate the end of 2024 by going over some of the happenings from 2024 and giving out some awards. That's the plan. This is the Rammys. This is the Rammys End of Year Awards Ceremony 2024. So in this ceremony, if you're new to this and how this all works, we're going to go through everything now before we kick off. So don't worry, take it easy. If you're watching this on the replay, do yourself a favor. Don't skip ahead. Go through it as it happens, because then you'll get the full body experience of it. All right. So how's it going to work? So this is a live ceremony, a live award ceremony, where we look at the year and we dish out these prestigious awards to some deserving people, both in a good way and a bad way. We're going to split this awards ceremony into two sections. One of them is that we're going to be giving awards out to people who are not vegan. And then the second section, which is going to come later, we're going to give awards out to people who are vegan. All right. That's why we're going to split it down. Now, in the non-vegan category, for the people who are not yet vegan, we have 3 awards to give out today, all right? We have the one that you're all going to vote on, which is what's going to take up most of our stream today. We're giving an award away for Meatdown of the Year. Now, what that is we'll get into what that is later. Meatdown of the Year is the one you're going to vote on. The second award we're going to give out today for someone who isn't vegan is the Most Improved Meatdown, the Most Improved Meatdown. And then we have one more for Pre-Vegan of the Year. This, by the way, is the Meatdown of the Year award. This is the one that we're going to be giving away. It's a facepalm, as you can see. Faceplant. Facepalm. So what is a Meatdown then? We're giving away 2 awards for Meatdowns, the Meatdown of the Year and the Most Improved Meatdown. Well, a Meatdown is when someone gets incredibly frustrated and upset by a vegan, and for a very unreasonable reason. It's not like the vegan did anything wrong. It's not like actually there was any reason to be upset, but they get really, really upset for some reason and just completely lose their mind, lose their cool, say something, do something. They're just really mean, really horrible, or completely embarrass themselves. Now, that would be called probably a meltdown in a lot of cases, but because we're talking about people who aren't vegan, we're going to call it a meatdown. Now, a lot of you will probably recognize the kind of thing because we used to call this a meat flake. Now, here's why we're not doing that anymore, why we're not calling these people meat flakes. That's because I don't want us to sit here today and vote on who we think is the worst person, i.e. someone like a snowflake or something like that, because that doesn't really give opportunity for people to change. So today what we're going to vote on is who has the worst behavior, because everybody can act badly, everybody can have bad behavior, but it doesn't mean they're a bad person. And then if we're going to vote on who's having the worst meatdown or meltdown, then what we're saying is, hey, that was terrible. That was a really bad meltdown you had there. Doesn't have to stay that way though, does it? Because that's just one behavior in one time. And as we have an award for Most Improved Meatdown, people can change and people can improve, right? So that's what we're going for today. That's what your guys are going to vote on. You're going to vote on who you want to give that award to, who has the Meatdown of the Year. I hope that makes sense for you guys. So what we're going to do is when we're looking at these meatdowns, as I've said, we're going to judge the behavior, not the person. This is really important because, hey, look, plenty of vegans did have these anti-vegan meltdowns before going vegan. All right. So I'd say at least when someone's upset by a vegan, it does show that they care, because if they didn't care, then they wouldn't be upset by the vegan. Right. So there's some hope there. So keep all that in mind. And then the second part of today's ceremony, as I said, is going to be for awards for the vegans. And here are the categories that we're going to have awards for today. And make sure, guys, this is going to include some people you know, and it's going to include some people you love, I'm sure. So here are the categories that we're going to give. And I've decided these, all right? So you won't get to vote on these ones. I've already picked these out. You're going to be voting on the Meatdown of the Year. That's what you guys are going to vote on. So here's the categories. We have Most Improved Vegan, Best Newcomer, Outstanding Vegan Legend, Grumpiest Goose, Best Vegan Celebrity, and the Hall of Fame Award. So again, that's Most Improved Vegan, Best Newcomer, Outstanding Vegan Legend, Grumpiest Goose, Best Vegan Celebrity, and Hall of Fame. Now, I'll explain each of those when we come to give those awards out, all right? So don't worry about that. And just a quick disclaimer before we dive in and get going. This awards ceremony it's going to be mostly focused on the meatdowns and the ones that are most known, let's say, people who are relatively known. They're not necessarily the worst of all time, because there's lots of people who have these kind of anti-vegan meltdowns every day. These are the ones that are the known people. So they have some kind of influence, they have some kind of platform. So we stick to that, okay? Just as an FYI, not just like random comments from random people or anything like that. And also when it comes to the vegans, there are so many vegans doing such important work. I can't give awards to everybody. And if I did that, then it wouldn't mean anything. But if you didn't get an award, or if someone you liked didn't get an award, it doesn't mean that they're bad or anything like that. It's just, it's just we're going to focus on what we focus on. And most of the awards also, by the way, are going to kind of people who are active on social media. That's the main point I wanted to make here. It's not that if you're on social media, not on social media, I wouldn't want someone to feel that, oh, I didn't get an award just because I don't do social media. It doesn't work like that. It's just that the people who are most known have social media, all right? So I suppose what I'm trying to say in a really roundabout way is I'd give awards to every single activist in the world. I would give them all out. But today we're going to focus on the ones that are active on social media. I suppose that's in a nutshell. And there was one award that I missed actually, sorry. Unsung Hero, the Unsung Hero Award as well. We have one of those as well. But we'll come to all of that later, as I said. Okay, the voting system. Let me explain the voting system for you guys. So there is one thing you'll vote on today, and that is the Meatdown of the Year 2024. We're going to watch clips of each of the people that have been nominated for this, and all of the individuals, some even more than one in one clip. And then you get to vote on it, okay? And we're gonna enjoy, we're gonna laugh, and there's gonna be some shocking things as well. It's not all fun and games, unfortunately. There's some pretty bad stuff that I'm gonna show you guys, but you're gonna get to vote. How it will work is like this. Each nominee for the Meatdown of the Year will have a unique word that I will tell you. I will tell you this word. You can use that word to vote for that person by typing that word in the chat. You can vote for as many of these people as you want, but you can only vote for them once. Okay? So, for example, you say we have 3 different videos. So let's say we have one from Piers Morgan, one from, I don't know, person A, and one from person B, one from person C. Let's just go A, B, and C. You could vote for A, B, and C, but you couldn't vote for A 3 times, okay? You can only have one vote per person, but you can vote for as many people as you want. Please remember that, okay, guys? Do not vote for the same person more than once, because otherwise you make it difficult for Annie to track how many votes people have, and basically you'd be cheating if you do that. So please track yourself. Maybe write it down who you voted for or who you want to vote for. And voting is open from the second we start, by the way. So the second we start looking at these people, you can start voting, or you can wait all the way till the end, and then you can give one vote. That's completely, you can vote for every single person, or you can vote for 1 or 2, up to you. And you can vote at any time, but just once per individual, once per nominee, okay? Does that all make sense, guys? Give me some broccolis in the chat if that's making sense to you, okay? Then once we have completed the voting for our meat flake, old habits die hard, for our Meatdown of the Year award, once we've completed the voting for that, we're going to give out the vegan awards, and then we'll reveal who wins Meatdown of the Year. That's how we're going to do it. Hope all of that makes complete sense. Now, this prestigious award, this Meatdown of the Year, in the past it's gone to, I believe it's, who was it last year? Does anybody remember who we gave this award to last year? I think it was, I don't even remember. Anyway, it's gone to some pretty prestigious meltdowns, meatdowns throughout the years. And I think we've been running this for 3 or 4 years at this point, which is pretty wild. Hey, Chip, what's up, man? Let's have a look at the chat. Who's here? Martin, what's up? Leon, how's it going? Who else we got? Vegan Plant, hello. Rebel Vegan, what's going on? Neil, 40-year-old vegan, what's going on, dude? How's everybody doing? Lizzie's here. Hey, Vegan Gays. Ellie's here. What's up? Happy to have you, all you guys here. Is there anything else I need to tell you before we dive in? Oh yeah, one more thing before we dive in. I thank you so much, Veghead, for the super chat, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So today obviously we're going to be chatting to you, we're going to be looking into all these things, going to be reacting, and I'll definitely be watching the chat. But if you have a nomination, if you have somebody you want to suggest for this, at this point, we have enough nominations, to be honest. I believe we have 7, and to add more would be tricky. Okay, so what we'll do is this: if you have someone and you think, damn, okay, I need to add them in, I need to nominate this person, we'll take a look at them, but we're going to do it at a minimum super chat or a minimum Streamlabs donation of €10. €10, $10, or £10, whichever currency you want. I think that's reasonable because at this point, taking nominations will definitely be tricky, and it'll make the stream a lot longer. All right, which is a lot harder work for me. But for a €10, £10, $10 donation that helps me continue with my work, I'm willing to add them. All right, so I'll leave that up to you. Aside from that, I'll also be taking questions. Happy to take questions today. So same thing. If you have questions for me, if you want to bring something up to me, if you want to make a comment, you want me to read it out loud, all that good stuff, that's got no limit. So you can do $1, you can do €1, you can do 5. That's up to you. But if you want to nominate somebody, guys, minimum, we're going to have it €10, $10, or £10. And again, I think that's pretty reasonable because it's been setting this up. It's been a lot of work. It's taken me about 2 solid days or so. It's spread out over like a week to get everything ready today. So we got to make sure we do it right. All right then. Great. Perfect. Now you guys tell me, are you ready to start the Rammys 2024? If you're ready to start the Rammys 2024, you got to tell me in the chat right now. You got to tell me you're excited for this. I got to know you guys are pumped, okay? If you're watching on the replay, get down in the comment section now because the live chat won't be open anymore. Get down in the comment section and just say, I've not even seen it yet and I'm so ready. Just say something like that down in the comments. Like, show us you're pumped for this because I'm pretty pumped for it. Oh, we got Let's Go from Chip. Sweet. Animals are here with us for us. It says I don't know what's going on. You have to rewind. We just explained everything. Just rewind. Have another little watch. JP and Julia says woo. Julia says woohoo. Hexproof Anarchist says ready. We've got yes from Arajan. We've got Rebel Vegan. Let's go. Yeehaw from Robin Hoodster. Vegan Strength. Hell yeah. Ready. Everyone seems bloody ready. Okay, well I guess we're ready. So let's do it then. So you saw the thumbnail, and this was a guy called Billboard Chris. And he was saying that he was a victim of vegan violence. And this is where we're going to start. And I gotta be honest with you guys, we're starting on a relatively somber note because this is not only a meat down, this is also a vegan meltdown. This is a 2-for-1 here, guys. This is a twofer. I've got to say, before I show you this clip, let me give you some background on this guy. This guy's called Billboard Chris. So he goes out on the streets and he does street activism. He does street outreach, okay? The bald guy, that is. And what he does is he does street activism, street outreach, but he doesn't do it for veganism or for animals. He's doing it for, I don't even know if I can say on YouTube without getting silliness, but he does it for like speaking out to educate or speaking out against children in the like trans community, trans movement, stuff like that. Okay, to put it in the shortest way possible. Now, he came across a vegan during his outreach, during his activism, and let's just say it didn't go very well for either person. And this is truly a 2-for-1 meltdown. Let's give this a watch. Okay, so the code for this, by the way, you can vote at any point once we start watching. The code for this is, we're going to call it the triggering, because this was an event between 2 people where they just continuously triggered each other. It is an ultimate, just the triggering is the best code I could come up with for this. So the triggering to vote for this one, remember you can vote as we go, or you can vote at the end. Completely up to you, okay? Let's have a watch.
You'll find that being
I hear no audio. Do you guys have audio? What's going on there? That's strange. Did you guys get audio when I played that? Let me see what's going wrong. Oh, maybe it's that. Let's try again. That's unusual. Oh, that's why. I think. Let's try again.
to people and just engaging in polite conversation.
You guys have
will be
audio? Yeah, I don't have any audio. I just ruined the thing. Oh, that's so strange. Oh, wait, I know what it is. Let's try that again. No.
You'll find that being...
Well, that's baffling and definitely not a good start. I have absolutely no audio through my headphones right now. I can hear myself, but I can't hear the bloody video. Give me a minute, guys. Apologies for this. I'm just going to have to try and quickly figure out what the hell's going wrong and why I have no audio through my headphones right now. All right.
calm to people.
I got nothing. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to put you guys on hold. I'm going to have to put you guys on the Be Right Back screen while I try and figure this out, because otherwise you just sit here watching me stressing. All right, be right back, guys. What's up, guys? I have no idea what was going wrong then, but it's working now. Okay, let's do that again. All right, so here we go. This is the triggering, okay? That's your code, the triggering.
You'll find that being calm to people and just engaging in polite conversation will be much more effective for your cause.
Hey, protester, yeah, children can't consent. Can the cow that died for your shoes consent? You think consent is important? You don't really care about the consent of the mind of the child?
Sorry, I missed your main point there. What were you saying?
So cows have the psychology of a 4-year-old human being.
Okay.
You claim to care about consent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You care about her?
What's your point?
I'm saying you're a hypocrite. You're walking around with a sign that says that consent is important, yet you are ignoring the fact that a cow has the psychology of a 4-year-old human being.
I haven't even said a word to this guy. I haven't even said a word to this guy. He thinks he knows all my views.
So you can see the vegan here is instantly triggered by him. He's instantly upset by this guy. And rightly, the guy's right. The guy's name's Chris. Chris is right here. No question has been asked. There's actually nothing to even discuss. He's assuming, I think, he goes into here, he assumes that Chris is wearing leather shoes. And that's kind of what he's basing his language on.
Yeah, that is a dead slave cow. So you obviously
Oh, my shoes.
paid for
You're
her
talking about my shoes.
to die. Do you understand
These might
how
be
supply and
these
demand
might be
works?
fake leather. You don't know.
They're not. You're a piece of shit. I know that. All of you
Oh,
are.
okay.
Yeah. All of you just care about yourselves. You're a virus.
This is a nice guy.
No, I'm not a nice guy.
Yeah. So why do you think we should sterilize kids?
I don't give a fuck about kids. What the fuck do I care about kids? You're a hypocrite. You're talking about consent mattering. Children cannot consent to puberty blockers. Yeah?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
consent matters? So
Yeah.
what about the consent of the cow? Does her consent? You think she walks in willingly to a slaughterhouse? You think they want to die for you? You're so great. Oh, you're human. Oh, you're human. Oh, you're human. Oh, let's kill all the cows for you.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because you're walking around saying that consent matters, but it's all talk.
Are children cows?
I just explained to you.
Are cows and children
I
equal to
just
you?
explained to you
Are they
that
equal to
a
you?
cow has the psychology of a 4-year-old human being.
Do you have kids?
You don't even answer my questions. So answer my first question. Does the consent of the cow not matter?
I'm totally uninterested in having a conversation with you because you're crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy because
Yeah.
I look at a cow and I think she doesn't want to die, so I won't pay someone to kill her like a pathetic coward.
Oh, okay.
So the problem is here is that obviously the vegan is, if you break down what he's saying, okay, so he's the fact that he's laid out cows have the same psychology or whatever he said as a 4-year-old human, okay, and what he's failed to do is explain why that should be important to Billboard Chris, who is holding a sign that says children cannot consent to puberty bloggers. So you can literally, you got to make the connection. You got to say that you got to build up to it. You got to say, okay, so you're out here because you care about kids. I am out here because I care about kids. Why do you care about kids? He'd probably say because they're vulnerable, because they're defenseless, and people shouldn't manipulate them into doing things that harm them. Okay, then I think we could agree on that. I don't think people should manipulate kids into doing harmful things either. Great. And that's why I'm also a vegan. See, because cows, we think that they're just stupid and that they don't feel or anything like that, but actually they're vulnerable and defenseless too. They're actually more vulnerable and more defenseless than children because they have significantly less rights. You see, so, and you can try to, and he'd probably say, well, I don't care about them because they're not children. And you say, okay, that's your opinion. But at the end of the day, you don't need to go out on the streets and do this to care about cows. You just need to not put them on your plate. I think that's a pretty simple thing you could do, even if you don't necessarily care that much. It doesn't take much to just choose an animal-free option and then not be a part of this horrible system for cows while you're defending children, does it? You see what I mean? There's a lot of work to do here, but it's not like... It's just the way that the messages have been put across here. They're just so adversarial and just so the vegan clearly just hates him off the bat. And this is the problem. And he's not hiding the fact that he hates him. And as a result of that, he's completely abandoned any kind of reasonable outcome by just channeling pure hatred for somebody as opposed to actually trying to convince him. Whoops, push the space bar.
Yeah, I just had a nice hot dog over there. It was delicious.
Okay, a rapist just had a good rape.
And there you go. And this is now Billboard Chris's meatdown begins by telling him, oh, I just had a good hot dog over there. So he positioned himself as this kind of like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you're crazy and trying to be all like, oh, I'm really suave and cool. But actually he's pretty triggered, which is why he just said that. Because the only time people do something like that, they say, oh, I should have a burger, is because they're actually frustrated and they feel kind of, pressured, or they feel upset about what's being said to them. So then they react and go, well, I just did this, because it's kind of like a rebellion type thing. It's a rebellious thing. You wouldn't rebel unless what the person was saying upset you or hit you in some way,
Half of women get raped.
Oh, we're conflating
right?
hot dogs with rape now. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, where do you think animals come from? You think they grow on trees? They get raped, bred into existence forcibly, without consent.
So, okay,
You're a fucking retard. Go
so
fuck
clearly
yourself.
I'm just a terrible human being.
Every animal has a mind.
But do you
catch that? Oh my God.
think
that is conscious, they all suffer equally. We all only have one life. If you are not a vegan, you are an animal abuser. It makes no difference to the victim. If they're a cow, a pig, a cat,
All right.
a dog,
That was good.
they get their throat slit and
That was good.
to a barbecue. It's only perceived in your eyes that it's okay to do this to a fish or a turkey. But it's not okay.
That'll be good material.
Oh my gosh. I hadn't said a word. And then I noticed, oh, he thinks my shoes are leather, so I don't even know if these are leather. They're probably fake. I don't know.
I just had a hot dog.
But anyway, that was fun.
Great argument, very logical. You had a hot dog. Good for you.
This guy's fun.
Yeah, this guy's funny because he gives a shit and he recognizes that you don't.
Yeah.
That everybody here does not give a shit.
I might be able to offer you some guidance on how to reach people if
Go
you'd
fuck
like.
yourself. That's what you can offer me.
I don't think the whole angry
Just go
yelling
play hide and
thing.
Go fuck yourself.
I don't think the whole angry yelling thing is really
You've already
working for
proven
you.
to me you have an IQ lower than 70. You are retarded.
Okay.
You're walking around saying that consent matters, yet hypocritically, you do not understand that the cow did not give her consent to be killed for your shoes.
Okay,
Leave
so-
me alone. Get the fuck away from me.
Oh,
you piece of shit.
you started talking to me, so I came on
Human
over.
beings are
I'm not sure that's the smartest way of convincing someone to come over to your side, to shout at them, tell them to get the F away from you. You're a piece of shit, insulting their intelligence, and using language that's actually super offensive to people that for no reason of their own. People are born sometimes with, developmental issues. That means they don't have high IQ or whatever. And this guy's kind of is saying, like, you have low IQ, you're dropping the R bomb and everything. it is truly, up until now, this is a meltdown on the vegan side. But just wait, because although this is, I have to be fair, you know, sometimes there are vegan meltdowns. Trust me, Billboard Chris also has his own meltdown. He has a meat down. It's not necessarily here on this video. It happens actually on Twitter, and we'll get to that.
Herbivores.
What do you think of this subject?
Herbivores.
Are you capable of talking about another subject?
Does no mean no? Do you understand that no means no? Get the fuck away from me means get the
Same.
fuck away from me.
I'm gonna stand right here now. I like this spot. It's free country, right? This is what happens when you're rude to people. Things might not always go like you plan. So I'm gonna stand right here because I came here to stand in this spot. So I'm gonna stand right here.
Fucking loser.
There you go. You're shaking, bro. You should calm down a little bit. Do you think it's okay to sterilize kids? Let's forget about your issue a second. What do you think we should be blocking puberty in children? No, you got no opinion. You just want to yell about cows. This is fun. Thank you for the content, by the way. Appreciate it. Check out @Billboard Chris. It's probably going to get a couple million views. That was good stuff. That'll help it. What else you got? He talks about a 70 IQ. This guy can't have a conversation. All he does is yell. You'll find that being calm to people and just engaging in polite conversation will be much more effective for your cause. Oh, that's an assault. That's an assault.
Tell your mommy. Go tell your mommy.
Maybe I'll tell the Vancouver police. How about that? You're welcome. That guy's crazy.
So yeah, that's about that. Now, as I said, let's just be, you know, I'm a vegan and we're all vegans, but we can all look at this and say that was bad, right? That was objectively not good. Guy had a complete and total meltdown on the street, and it was totally unjustified in this case. This guy, this Billboard Chris, you might disagree with him, and he's not necessarily he's a very controversial figure, but given half a chance, he is willing to actually have a conversation and wouldn't resort to screaming and shouting and threats or anything like that. This could have gone an entirely different way, and it could have been content. This could have had 1.6 million views of a vegan absolutely destroying him with great arguments and really taking him on head to head and having a good intellectual discussion that actually exposed Billboard Chris's lack of knowledge on veganism, lack of knowledge on animal rights and farming and factory farming. There could have been a lot here, but unfortunately it went this way. In this clip, Chris only had a small little meat down where he was, I bought a hot dog, which is, it's lame, but it doesn't get him in the running for meat down of the year. But what happened afterwards, I think just might, all right? So remember, to vote for this one, by the way, is for Chris as the meat down of the year. This is the triggering, okay, if you want to vote for this. So here's what he said. Here's what happened next, okay? So first off, we have what happened here. This guy's sign is made out of wood. I hope he planted at least one tree to make up for the carbon he's responsible for releasing into the atmosphere. I did have a hot dog, but they were all out of beef, so I had to settle for pork. Dad joke, how do you know if someone is a vegan? Don't worry, they will tell you. So he might have appeared calm and reasonable and, not necessarily adversarial in the clip. But then in the messages and the comments underneath, he clearly had a complete and utter meat down, to be honest. Let's just be clear. He had a complete and utter meat down here, a complete and utter silly, really immature, really childish little meltdown after this whole situation. Now, you could give him his due and say, look, at the end of the day, I mean, the guy did call him names. The vegan called him names. The vegan did attack him and physically attack him. I mean, maybe we can forgive this little meat down. I don't know. Up to you. A tweet down. Good one, Chip. But I still thought, oh, better include him, right? Better include him because he did have a meat down, a little bit of a meat down here. So the triggering, remember, guys, if you want to vote. But it doesn't stop there. See, I did a response to him. I said, this video of a vegan being physically aggressive has over 1.5 million views. It's hard to watch and, in my opinion, a poor representation of veganism. So as a vegan, here's what I'd like to discuss with Billboard, Chris, and his supporters. You defend children because they're vulnerable, innocent, and defenseless. You see they're being manipulated and harmed due to their vulnerability, innocence, and defenselessness. You believe there is a better way to treat the children in our society and you want to keep them safe. Vegan activists defend animals because they are vulnerable, innocent, and defenseless. We see they are being manipulated and harmed due to their vulnerability, innocence, and defenselessness. We believe there is a better way to treat the animals in our society and we want to keep them safe. Children are not the same as farm animals, but they are similar in the ways that matter. They are similar enough for us to avoid funding the meat, dairy, and egg industries that abuse thousands of them every day. Does this at least help you see where vegans are coming from? Now, I didn't know this, but Chris responded to my tweet at the time, or back in August, and I didn't see it until literally I went on today looking for some responses and I saw that he had actually responded. And I can't believe that I missed it. But anyway, here's what Chris said to that. Nobody is confused about where vegans are coming from. I'm sure most are wonderful people. I'm also sure I'm never going to be a vegan, and no amount of moralizing or fallacious comparisons of children to animals will change that. Does that class as a meat down to you guys? I don't know. I feel like possibly because remember, I did say here, children are not the same as farm animals. And here he says a fallacious comparison of children to animals. Where was the fallacious comparison when I literally said they are not the same, but they share some things that we value in society, we value morally, such as them having pain and emotions and sentience and being vulnerable and defenseless, right? And if you see here, there are people in the comments who don't appear to be vegan, actually. I don't believe everybody, this person doesn't seem to be. There are some general, just average, kind of regular, average normies, let's say, people who are not vegan and people who are not in the animal rights space. Your puerile comment and refusal to engage with an interesting and reasonable viewpoint shows you in a poor light. And he says, yes, that man was the epitome of reasonable. Great point. I don't know if he's talking about me or that vegan, but whatever. How was it a fallacious comparison? Comparison doesn't mean equivalence, and the guy clearly stated that. Thank you. Again, what was fallacious about it? No response. Fallacious how? No response. And I think that's about it. You seem to get offended over the truth that young children have comparable intellect to many animals. This is not fallacious at all. And that's it. And so, yeah, there you go. That's the vegan meltdown, Billboard Chris's meat down. And to vote for this one, guys, remember, one more time, I'll tell you the triggering if you want to vote for this and Chris to be meat down of the year. And I suppose also you'd be voting for the vegan to be somewhat receiving the similar award, because that is, I mean, yeah, it was a full-on meltdown. It's a real shame because obviously we, as vegans, we don't like to see it, but it sometimes happens. All right, so there's your first one. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Fractor, thank you so much for the tip. Appreciate it. It says, love your work, David. Thank you so much. Jordan Vegan USA also super chatted. Says, shoot, I'm late. Don't worry, Jordan, you're here now. That's what matters. Thank you for the super chat. So that's our first one. We're off to the races. A good start. Is it a horse racing thing? I hope not, because it's not vegan, is it? Okay, next up, let's keep this train going. I mean, that's our first nomination, Billboard Chris and the vegan meltdown. Next up, we have a more fun one. It's straight up a more like, okay. Whoa. Hey,
welcome back to the show. Lovely to have
Shush
you.
now. So many things playing at the same time. Stop. There we go. Sorry, guys. Fixed. That's going to happen a lot here, okay? The system I've got set up is going to start auto-playing things, unfortunately. All right, next one we've got up. This one also comes with a bit of a story, because this was from back about 11 months ago, back in January, when Earthling Ed went onto a panel and had a debate with 3 meat-eating panelists. Now, the bit that we want to talk about is, and the guy who's nominated, is this guy up in the left corner here. Do you guys recognize this guy? Glasses, grey hair, grey beard. You guys know this guy's face? So he's going to be our nomination this year for Meat Down of the Year. And the code for this guy is going to be Sausage Man. The reason before we watch Earthling Ed's debate with Sausage Man, we're going to show you why he is known as Sausage Man. Let's take a look.
Here is 2 sandwiches, okay? And I'm going to give them to Mike. And one sausage.
Why am I not getting this?
No, well, do you know, we can bring one in for you. We weren't sure. I will do the sauce for you. You've got to tell me, right, of these, which is the real meat sandwich.
Easy.
So which is the real... Now, before you do it, would you like tomato sauce or would you like brown sauce?
No, that will try and disguise the true taste of a sausage sandwich, okay?
Show me which one the real meat one is,
Okay.
Mike.
I'm going to take a bite out of each, people, okay?
Yes.
So I'm now taking a bite of this one. Very nice bread, by the way, okay?
We need sort of background music now.
Great. This is classic TV, this.
No. Okay. I would say that's...
Well, don't decide yet.
No.
Just do a thing, you know.
He's so rude. He's talking with his mouth.
Excuse me.
Well, I think he feels the
Right.
pressure.
I'll tell you what, that was the first one. I'm going to now...
Cleanse the palate. We've got time here, don't worry. Welcome to one of the most exciting shows on British TV.
Okay. Now for the second one.
Strictly's got nothing on this. Okay. Go on, Mike.
It is absolutely obvious to me this first one is the false sausage, okay?
Right.
That's not real sausage. That is cardboard. This second one is clearly the real sausage. I could taste the meat in it. Excuse me. It was luscious and lovely. Tasted a bit like the one I had this morning. This is the winner.
Okay. Very interesting. What do you think? Do you think he's got it right? I mean, he
is the expert on sausages, so I suspect he's probably got it right.
I'm going to... Well, it's certainly, Mike, you did it with great conviction. Are you right? Is Mike right? Has he correctly identified the meat sausage? The answer is that the meat sausage sandwich is actually down here, Mike. You've just eaten 2 vegan sandwiches. So you are... I think there we are. And you can have a meat sausage right now as well. You, I think, are a vegan in disguise.
Not at all. What an underhanded, downright rotten trick to pull on a man whose reputation now as the great sausage butty king is ruined.
How do you feel that mistake was made, though? I mean, you've tasted sausage, right?
All I can say is that that's cardboard. And that's sort of almost cardboard. Almost cardboard. Call it tissue paper. Now I shall take a bite out of the real sausage.
So it's almost cardboard, tissue paper. Literally moments after he just said it's luscious and I can taste the meat in it. Yeah, all right. Oh, what a complete and utter meat down that was.
Interesting. I'm presuming you would rather have a real sausage than a vegan sausage, correct?
I would rather have a real sausage. However...
Yes.
I do think there is an argument for vegan food. Let's not forget, we were just talking about climate change.
All right, well, we'll stop that one there. So anyway, this guy didn't learn from his mistakes and he decided to continue doing what he does and being this silly Billy. Unfortunately, didn't learn from that. And here he is now arguing with Earthling Ed about, well, you'll find out. We'll have a watch how this goes. Remember, guys, if you want to vote for Sausage Man, just pop Sausage Man in the chat. Annie is tracking your votes, but only vote once for each nomination. Remember, just once for each person, but you can vote for as many people as you want. Now, let's have a watch how this goes.
Just had a steak.
Okay.
That's
But it doesn't. Can
Michael,
I just jump in here, Ed?
Can I just warn you, Michael's just had a steak.
But I also know that Michael likes vegan
Ed, can I ask
sausage
you a very
sandwiches.
serious
Did you
question?
catch Ed there, by the way? Did you hear that? Listen to that again. Listen really carefully to what Ed says.
Replicate and be an alternative to a class
But
1
it doesn't.
carcinogen.
Can
Michael,
I just jump in here, Ed?
Can I just warn you, Michael's just had a steak.
Listen very carefully.
But I also know
I
that
haven't.
Michael likes
No,
vegan
Ed, can I
sausage
ask you a very
sandwiches.
serious question?
I also note that Michael likes vegan sausage sandwiches. So quick.
A very serious question, because you're an expert on this. Is it not true that the human body, and I've read a lot of reports on it, needs protein, and protein comes from meat? And if you deny a human body that protein, strange things happen to the human body. So veganism, I've got a lot of respect for people who want to be vegans, who want to eat that way, but I do think that, you know, there is almost a kind of, you know, bullying type aspect to you must become a vegan to be a good people. But I do think that you are denying your body protein, which is absolutely necessary to the human form.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh, man. See, the reason this is clearly a meat down is because he can't possibly not know that other things are protein, and I don't believe that he doesn't know. So this is a meat down, isn't it? It has to be.
All protein comes from plants. Animals get protein from consuming plants. Even carnivores get it from consuming herbivores.
Absolutely, and that's why cows have plenty of protein in them. And then when you eat a steak, you ingest protein.
But you can get protein from plants. All plant protein originates from plants.
You'd have to eat millions of plants, honestly.
Millions.
You'd have to eat millions of plants.
I mean, how does a broccoli compare to, let's say, a pork sausage in terms of protein?
Or a steak.
Well, they're not necessarily comparable, but broccoli isn't a protein source. But when you compare things like legumes, like soy, and even seitan, which is a plant-based protein, they have comparable, sometimes even higher amounts of protein per gram compared to certain animal products. The point you're making is completely mute. You can get protein in a plant-based diet.
It's
very hard to mute. You can't mute Mike Parry.
But
I've tried.
You're not arguing against me. You're arguing against the NHS, the British Dietetic Association. You're arguing against the largest bodies of medical and health authorities on the planet.
Ed, wouldn't you say that veganism has lost its way in the sense now it's just become more of a fad?
So why change the subject here? Don't let this guy off. Anyway, let's see if he comes back in again, because this clip is more about him. Here he is. He's off again.
Well, we've evolved as being opportunistic scavengers. We ate what we could to survive.
But would we have done that? Would we have done that without meat, Michael?
We killed animals because we needed it. We knew right from the birth of man that sustainability in the human form was the food chain, and the food chain involved us killing animals and eating that.
Let me respond to that point you've just made.
Yes, please. Yeah.
At that time, we ate what we had to survive. Society's changed and evolved in a number of different ways, and what we have now is information and accessibility to foods that our ancestors never did. Our ancestors used to kill one another, rape one another to survive and to prosper. But we would never condone such a thing now, because we live in a modern world where we have the choice and accessibility to do other things instead.
What about the fact that medics recommend people on a vegan diet take supplements? That's not...
Anyway, we'll skip past that. But you can see, guys, still having his meat down, and it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And by the way, we're going to skip out the supplements point, but just in case someone's watching and wants an answer to that and doesn't know the answer, why would somebody recommend the vegan takes medics, he said, whatever, medical professionals, I suppose he means. Why would they recommend people take supplements? They recommend, there's lots of people in society that are recommended to take supplements, especially people who live in dark countries are recommended to take vitamin D supplements. Generally, everybody is recommended to take a B12 supplement. Most people in the world, or like a lot of people in the world, take multivitamins. It's no different. Vegans are no different. We just have slightly different recommendations, let's say, than somebody who eats a different diet. So B12 is probably more of a necessity for a vegan to take versus someone who's not a vegan, but only because the animal products they eat have B12 supplemented into them already. Like meat, dairy, and eggs, the animals themselves are fed B12 supplements, and then they're non-vegan. Excuse me, something in my mouth. The person who isn't vegan eats that, right? So they get the supplements that way. Vegans just take the supplement ourselves. And vitamin D generally, recommended for vegans, but also recommended for lots of other groups in society as well. So, supplementation isn't evil, is basically the take-home message there.
From supplements
can I just flip the coin for a moment? Supposing the argument was the other way around, and I said to you, look, I think you should be a vegetarian, but eat false vegetables, not real vegetables. Do you see what I mean? Because you want us to eat false meat, not real meat. So if I said to you, look, here's a cabbage, but it's a false cabbage, how would you feel about that if I was finding a way to produce a false cabbage, not a real cabbage?
Well, I mean, firstly, you don't have to eat plant-based alternatives if you don't want to. Just eat whole plant foods instead. I know that you are quite fond of the vegan sausage, of course. I've seen you eating that sausage about quite nicely. But the point is, the reason that we have these plant-based alternatives is because there are more ethical decision. So if I eat vegan bacon, vegan sausage, vegan burger, what that means is I'm no longer paying for animals to be mutilated,
But
forcibly
why do they call it
impregnated,
bacon and
forced into
sausage? It's
gastro.
not, is it? Why do they call it vegan sausage and vegan
Well,
bacon?
sausage refers to the shape.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. But it's
cylindrical shape.
But isn't that conning people? You know, if you
No, it
say
says meat-free
this is a vegan sausage, it's not vegan sausage.
But it's a meat-free sausage. So when people see it, they go, "That is a sausage made from something that isn't from an animal."
Let me
which
tell
makes
you,
it more ethical.
you don't want to see Mike's sausage.
Funny. Cool. There we go. So if you want to vote for Sausage Man, then just put in the chat. Sausage Man, here he is. Sausage Man. Sausage Man in the chat if you want to vote for Sausage Man. I think he's a pretty high contender because he's a two very public anti-vegan meltdowns, meatdowns. Two of them. I mean, it's not very often that you get someone like a repeat offender like this, and somebody it's not like his whole career is based around chatting crap to vegans. It's not like that's what his whole thing is, but yet he's ended up doing it on two separate occasions, and on one of the occasions with somebody he really probably shouldn't have done that with. Elfin Yet is the does this as a hobby, pretty much at this point. So remember, you can vote for as many people as you want today, but you can't vote for the same person twice. So if you're going to put it in the comments, you're going to put your vote in, just put your vote in once, okay? And you can put it in now, you can put it in later. Totally up to you. All right, we're 2 nominations down. How you all doing, guys? Everyone enjoying so far? You like the way we're doing this? You're enjoying the horizontal stream where we've actually got the special light going. Look at this special fancy light. We've got the special fancy lights over there. Saw some of you saying you really appreciated it. It's a little different to the vertical. The thing is with the vertical streams, guys, when we do vertical, put it this way, I love you guys. I love sitting here and hanging out with you guys and doing this with you guys. But at the end of this stream, a week from now, this stream will have maybe 5,000-6,000 views most, and it'll have an impact that's kind of, linked with that amount of views. We only reach that amount of people, right? When we do vertical streams, the most I've had, I got 20,000 hits on that. And guess what? Most of them were not vegan. It's pretty crazy, actually, how crazy the vertical streams go. But these horizontal ones, they don't really reach people who aren't vegan, and they don't necessarily get that far out there full stop, which is why I've been doing the vertical ones. But I mean, today we're doing this more. This is more for us. It's more for the community. I think somebody who isn't vegan could still enjoy the stream today. I'm trying to make it that way as well. But yeah, that's why I've been doing it vertical. So don't hate on me when the vertical streams come along. Okay, just come along, enjoy it as much as you can. And remember, most people watching it, we have like 300 people watching at one time on the vertical streams. How crazy is that? And they're mostly people who are not vegan. And that's exactly why we're out here, isn't it? That's what we're doing. Not today though. Today's a little different. Today's an awards ceremony for us more so. But if you're not vegan, please do stick around, subscribe to the channel, get in the chat, have a good time. If you're somebody who isn't vegan currently, out of the 130 people watching, chat, don't attack them, but pop up in the chat now and say, hey, I'm not a vegan, I'm enjoying watching. And chat, be nice to them. We're a community here. Say, hey, get into a conversation maybe. Get to know each other a bit, because people who aren't vegan are absolutely welcome here in the community, in the chat. We want to make this as long as they're nice, as long as they're not being trolling or anything like that, they're absolutely welcome to be here and get involved and watch the videos and get involved in the chat. And I hope that you are. If you're too scared to say, well, stick around and enjoy either way. It's all right. I understand why you might be concerned with outing yourself. All right, let's move. Okay, the next one is a good one. I did a whole video about this next one, and you guys will probably remember it. What did I find? Where is it? Here it is. Okay, hold up. Got to set it up. Okie dokie. It is the situation. Let's close this one. All right, here we go. Almost. Okay. So the next one we have, this person was a very, very special nomination because this was a particularly intense moment. You guys might remember this debate that took place about 6 months ago between Christian animal rights activist Cam Waters, director of Cowspiracy, and this podcaster called the Reverend Hunter. This guy, the Reverend Hunter, runs a podcast where he talks about Christian stuff, but also where he goes into detail about killing animals. And he wrote a book all about it too, about all of these things. There is a clip in this over 3 hour discussion where this is what we're gonna watch today. This is the moment that put this guy, the Reverend Hunter, down as having a meat down. All right. Cam asks him, can I read part of your book? Can I read something from your book that you wrote, Reverend Hunter? And Reverend Hunter says, yes, okay. And then we're going to see what happens. By the way, if you've not watched Cowspiracy yet, if you don't know who Cam is, the guy on the left, long-haired guy who looks a bit like Jesus, you need to watch Cowspiracy. Go to cowspiracy.com. It's a fantastic documentary that he made with Kip Anderson, who's the director of Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy, and What the Health. It is a fantastic documentary about the history of Jesus, Christianity, and how it relates to animals. If you have any even fleeting interest in religion and how it formed our society and how in the West, most of what we believe and do is influenced by religion, you've got to watch Cowspiracy. It's completely free to watch. You've got to watch it. Even if you're an atheist, if you're an anti-theist, if you hate religion, watch this movie because it will help you, give you the tools to have these sorts of discussions. Because at the end of the day, in the West, our society has been formed and driven by Judeo-Christian values. So you got to know where they're coming from, and it really helps us. Now, again, just to reiterate here, Cam is coming from that side of things. He's the vegan, he's the animal rights guy as a Christian. Opposing him, the bald guy, glasses. This guy is a hunter who's also a Christian and tries to justify killing animals through Christianity, which is obviously not very Christ-like. To vote for this one before we start, the code is going to be WWJD. What would Jesus do? You can either type what would Jesus do or you can put WWJD. Totally up to you. Let's get into this.
And then we got to close out.
Well, I really wanted, I want, so you don't know how Jesus, do you believe Jesus killed animals?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm not gonna. What I don't do is speculate about stuff that's not in the text.
But
so I don't know.
If we're meant to be Christ, you understand the reason why it's a device. It's not just that I'm trying to speculate. If I'm trying to be a Christ follower, and I imagine that you are as well, what's the Christ-like way to kill an animal?
I think probably the way that I do it.
Could I read an excerpt about how you do it? That you've put it in your in your book here?
Sure.
So he's just said the Christ-like way to kill an animal is how I kill animals. Cam says, great. So can I read how you kill animals from your book? And he says, yes, read my book then. Great. So far we're kind of okay. But as you can see in the guy's face, he's already starting to have his meat down. But it gets so much worse.
So, I mean, there's a few times that you mentioned this, and I kind of want to, let's see. Oh yeah, have it saved here. So in your chapter meat, put my glasses on because a deer doesn't have front shoulder joints. It's odd. The humerus doesn't connect with the scapula in a socket like it does in the back hips or in human shoulders, for that matter. Instead, it's connective tissue, cartilage, and silver skin. They bridge the opposing muscles like layered sheets of paper, allowing the leg to pivot without a fulcrum. Separating the front leg from the rest of the deer resides in my imagination as pure sense memory. Skinned and hung for a couple of days, the doe has taken on a darkened hue, her muscles moisture wicked away by the cold November wind. I prefer to hang a deer by the head, but for the purpose of carving off a front leg. Hanging by a gramble through its backward-facing knees is better. Hoisting her onto the tailgate of a pickup works too. Press the rigor mortised. I don't even know. That's some heavy vocabulary. Mortised leg out on a slide, slide a sharp knife in. Gentle strokes, lightly touched. The blade glides between the muscles as if connecting the cartilage. As if the connecting cartilage is pulling the blade, welcoming the cuts, inviting the separation. A light crackle sounds as the slightly frozen tissue tears ahead of the knife. I slice, I push the leg away, my hand around her ankle. The rift continues. And I can read more, but what about that description is the Christ-like way?
Man, that is what you just read is among the most meaningful, sacred words that I've ever put on paper. And I've had multiple people, my book came out a week ago, and I've had multiple people in tears tell me that that was the most meaningful chapter to them, because they eat meat and they're divorced from the origin of that meat, and they want to be, they're thankful that I'm deliberate about it. And I can't tell you, I mean, it's a little, for you to use those words that are so meaningful to me and to throw them back at me in the way you the way that you read them without feeling is,
oh, I feel them.
I really think that's low.
I feel them.
That chapter to me is probably, that chapter and the chapter about my father's death are the most meaningful chapters of the most meaningful book I've ever written. Yeah.
Yeah. We all have our traumas, and I understand, and I have sympathy for what you went through in your life that led you to the woods and to these experiences, and how that may be a connective thing. I totally understand. I personally feel that you can go to the woods and learn about God without having to, kill another being, especially in that type of way. And I am curious how that type of way is reflective of a Christ-like way, or a way that brings you closer to God. But I have we all have our traumas. My brother was murdered last year. And what I've learned through that process, I don't see that line. I see when a deer is out there having fun, enjoying its life, like we cover in the film. And I know you saw the film. We have a young boy from my own Christian hunting club that I was a part of that shot a deer and clearly displays on camera the guilt complex and the process of going through that and not feeling good about it, and realizing that I went through that too, because similar to the way that I lost my brother because he was shot, hunted, basically. Not only do I have the grief of witnessing what's happened to my brother, but I have the grief of witnessing what's happening to my mother, who doesn't have a son anymore. And that deer has a mother. And we know, and we've seen that these animals, when they lose their kin, they look for them. We know that dairy cows, when the cow's taken away so that the baby cow doesn't take the mother's meat or milk, we know that the cows scream and they want their children back. And so
I just have to end it right now. So okay. So just finish up with last sentence.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to press into it, but it's the same thing. And I feel you. And I don't mean to be this in a way that throws back, but it's brutal language, as you know, and I do respect that you were honest about it. But what I think would be even better is I would love to pose a challenge to you, and we can continue this. Rather than go out into the woods and shoot a deer from however far away with a rifle, either A, go kill the deer with a knife or your hands, or B, better yet, let's get 2 baby ducklings. Let's have you raise the 2 baby ducklings yourself. Because I don't know, I haven't read through everything, but I can't see anywhere where you actually raised an animal to eat it. But let's raise 2 baby ducklings from their first birth until the age of maturation that they need to be killed. And I would love to follow you on that journey of raising 2 baby ducklings, having them at your house, and then eventually having to kill them.
Well, that was such a heavy way to end. I can feel both of your intention and your passion in what you believe. And I think everyone should go both watch Cowspiracy and read your book, The God of Wild Places. And I would love to continue this, but it does have to end. And I'm sorry to cut it off like this because I hate cutting off conversations. I just want to keep going and going. But I really appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you both sharing your heart. I know that you both care deeply about your cause, and I just appreciate you being here.
Can I just end by saying, because I know it was heavy, that I do have the utmost respect for you and for what you're doing. And I do believe that you're a really good person, not that you need my
I think that was a super unfair way to end this conversation.
Well, why don't you say the last sentence? Why don't you go ahead?
I don't want to swear on your podcast, but to do that, 2 baby ducklings, no, dude, you're that's my life in that book. And you're using that as a fulcrum to try to win I'm
not trying to win.
No, you're trying to win over people's affections by yes, I would, billions of human beings do on this planet, raise livestock and butcher them and eat them. Like, you are condemning over 1 billion people who raise livestock, people in poor villages all over the world who raise livestock for their own family. Yes, I would do that.
I'm not condemning the people.
You
I'm condemning
are
the action.
condemning them.
No, I'm
You
not. I'm
are.
condemning the action.
Is there any positive way you want to end within like 30 seconds? The only reason I'm wrapping up is because we have to be out of here by 5:30. Like that's the only reason.
I just think
Is
that was
there-
a really BS way to end.
Well, I don't like
So,
to end like
yeah.
negatively. I thought this was such a beautiful conversation.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that you both had positive intentions in the way that you shared. I think it's all pure intentions with your heart. And you didn't receive that last thing very well. And I know that you both went through something really difficult by even just listening to that, and through the loss of your brother. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too. I wish we just could have talked about that without you making it about baby ducklings, really.
I wasn't making it. It's a literal thing that I've gone through the experience of understanding, learning that we have emotional connections and family bonds like animals do. And when you go through the loss of one being murdered by gunpoint, it's a whole different level and layer of understanding the ethics.
You brought a lot to your reading, to your
Is there
thing. I get
anything
it.
you want to add within like 1 minute to end? Because I don't want you to feel like you were cut off and that it ended in a bad way. I really don't.
Can I say one thing?
Just talk more.
No, I don't want to talk more. I want to just say, to clarify, I'm not condemning you. I think that you're a really good person. Not that you need my acknowledgement. I'm just saying, from me to you, I feel that something in your heart, because I've read your words in here, and I read how particular you are and your affection for animals, for your dog, for the moments that you do have with these animals. I understand it, but I just don't think the act of killing them is necessary in the way
that clear.
All right.
And
let's let Tony end. Let's let Tony end.
I
What
am
he has- wants to say.
I am a fiercely mortal being. I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. And I am involved in the death of animals. I'm aware of that. And so are you. Because you landed on a runway at LAX today that is, many thousands of square acres of land that is no longer used by animals that were extirpated and killed so that you could land on an airplane on there. I mean, we can go down this road if you want, and it's too late to do that. Mm-hmm. But it is so disingenuous to argue that because you don't eat meat anymore, that suddenly you're not responsible for the death of animals.
I never said that.
We're all responsible for the death of animals. I'm just being honest about it.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest about my own mortality, because I knew that after going through my trauma, what I needed to be in touch with was my finitude and my mortality. I needed to stop looking up and out for some rescue. I needed to start living in the world as it actually is. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, we're going to end it. I know you want to reply. I know, I'm sorry. But thank you guys for being...
So ultimately, this guy had such a meat down, such a terrible reaction to his own words being read back to him, and then being asked, so as you just claimed that the way you kill animals is Christ-like. I've just read the book that you wrote. You told us how you killed animals. Explain how it's Christ-like. He got upset. He almost cried. And then he attacked back at Cam by saying, well, you flew in, so you're just as bad as me. Somebody built that airport 20 years ago, and so because you used it, you're just as bad as me going out and shooting deer in the throat, head, heart. When he gets his shots right through the heart, when he misses through the throat or the back or the leg, as I learned recently, hunters are actually mostly missing. Hunters are not actually very rarely do hunters actually make really, really good shots, because there's many, many factors that come into play: wind, weather problems, trees and stuff in the way. They're not very good. They're not all professionals. In fact, most of them aren't, and most of them don't hunt regularly. They hunt like once a year. And I learned recently from an ex-hunter, you go find him on Instagram, Empty Cages, that most hunters are not particularly good at shooting, and they miss and they hit in other parts of the animal. And oftentimes they try to track the animal to go and kill the animal once they've missed, can't find them. So the animal goes off into the wilderness with an injury and probably bleeds out somewhere slowly. Anyway, just to give you some context here. So he goes through all of that, and now he's saying that him doing all of that is the same as Cam or a vegan flying into LA to come and do an interview. Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's a pretty epic meet down, to be totally honest with you. I actually think that this is a pretty big one. as far as meatdowns go. If you want to vote for this guy and his pretty epic meatdown, what would Jesus do? Or WWJD is the code. Personally, I think he's one of the worst. It's not like it's like a big, loud, angry meatdown, but his behavior here is just totally gone, totally out there, isn't it? I mean, why get so offended about something you wrote? You answered a question, and then the person that you answered the question to just read your words and said, okay, now explain the answer to your question. And then you just go off on some rant, talking about the trauma has been through, talking about, I mean, why do? Just explain how it's Christ-like. Just make the you compared yourself to Jesus, basically. Explain then what you wrote. How is that Jesus like? How is it like Jesus? Like, just get to the point instead of all this crap about the runway and stuff. I mean, you made a claim, answer the question, you know? Proper meltdown. Actually, he went back on there and he did like a follow-up. We're not going to watch it because it's a it's a frustrating watch where basically he just went through a load of crap completely unchallenged, and it's quite a frustrating watch, but we'll skip past that. You can go check that out if you want. And also, if you want to watch my full response to this video, it's on my channel. You can go and find it. Just go and scroll down. I did like a full video response to it, I believe. Was it a full video response? I think it was, yeah. I think it was a full video response. It might have been a live stream. Either way, it's on my channel. WWJD to vote for that guy. What a mess. All right. Having fun, guys. Oh, we got some super chats, right? Some Streamlabs and super chats and such. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We've got Barry Devonshire. Thank you so much, mate, with a £5 super chat. I appreciate it. We've got Fracta, who tipped and $10. Thank you. Says, what would Jesus do? Donate to the stream, of course. Yeah, I mean, come on. Obviously, Jesus would be up in here donating. Dominic Smith, thank you for the super chat, mate. Hey, too busy to hang on to the stream today. Thanks for always being a voice for the voiceless. Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you popping in, dropping a super chat and heading out. That's very nice of you. It's very kind of you. I hope you can come back and rewatch this, and then if you left already, you'll see. I said thank you. Hopefully you come back. And hopefully you find out who our meatdown of the year 2024 is too, as well as the other awards that we've got. Okie dokie. Next up, two people that you know very well. We're going to be taking a look at the meatdowns that led to Tash Peterson and Jack Higgs being attacked. So if you don't know what's happened, I'll assume you don't even know who Tash Peterson and Jack Higgs are, in fact, if you'd like. So, Tash Peterson, vegan booty, an activist that's pretty well known across the world at this point. Her and her partner Jack go out on the streets and they do outreach and they do activism, and basically they mostly these days are interviewing people on the street, pretty confrontational, pretty adversarial, usually get into some kind of argument. Either they instigate the argument by, you know, with some form of insult, or a lot of the cases the other person, I'm talking about Tash and Jack's. More so, Tash, I would say, is more kind of in there for like a head-to-head, like a fight. Jack is a little bit more on the mellow side, I'd say, in comparison. But honestly, more often than not, it's the people they're talking to who come over and they're like, oh, we want to fight with Tash Peterson. Like, not physically, but, you know, verbally, that they're up for it. They're like, let's go, and they say stupid things to try and upset her and things like that. So just to give you a flavor of what they go out and do. Now, recently, they were attacked twice in a day. Like physically attacked twice in one day, physically assaulted. And so for this one, for the code for this one, I'm going to show you what happened. This can be a quick one, but the code for this is going to be bad parenting, because in both cases, these are very young people that do this. So we'll show you this one first. This is the, I believe, yeah, this is the first one that happened, where someone, very cowardly, by the way, approaches Tash from behind and throws a drink at her. And she looks about, 15? There you go. Which is obviously a horrible thing to do. It technically is assault, even though it's only some people might say it's only a, you know, thing of soda or whatever. But it could have been anything. You don't know what it was. It could have been anything. Could have been some kind of chemical, could be some kind of body fluid, could literally be anything. You can't do that. It's assault. So that was the first time it happened. And remember the code for this one, by the way, bad parenting. Either write it down for later or vote now, up to you. And then the second time it happened, They were sat down the same day. They were sat down eating after a day of activism. And look at this. Somewhat different person, also a very young person, probably like 17, comes in, throws a whole drink on her, then leaves. And then what happened after this actually is even worse. They got into a scuffle outside, which I don't think there's footage of. Jack went in there to try and split it up. And I believe the brother of this girl who was there punched Jack in the side of the head. And they had to go to hospital because he had, like, I believe, a mild concussion. Just wild. I mean, all over words. This is the thing, right? It's understandable to be annoyed, frustrated, even angry about the kinds of things that both Tash and Jack say on the street. They're not people, they're not activists that hold back in the language they use, that they don't hold back their words. They say exactly what they think, and sometimes it's adversarial, sometimes it's quite combative, sometimes it's even insulting. I mean, I've seen clips where I've seen Tash calling people names and insults and things like that, and they shout back at her, she shouts back at them. You know, things get heated out there. But at the end of the day, they are words, and you can't go and throw stuff at people and attack people and punch people in the head because of words that you find to be upsetting to you or offensive. You know, especially when they're talking about animals here. You know, it's not like the threats are being made against you and your family. I mean, I could understand it then. If someone's making a threat against someone you love or care about, then I could understand escalate into a physical, assault there. But in this case, that's not happening. All they're doing is having arguments with people about their diets, about their lifestyles. And it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. No one likes that. But it doesn't give you the right to throw things or punch people. You can't punch somebody because you willingly get into a discussion with them. If Tash and Jack come over to you in the street, right, and they say, hey, and put a microphone in your face and go, hey, what do you think about this? You can just walk away. No one's forcing you to stand there and talk. You're in public. They don't do this really anywhere else. They do it always in places where everybody can leave, right? There's never been a time where someone's forced to stay there. If they walk into a restaurant that you're in, you might not agree with the way they do things. You might not agree with them storming a restaurant. But guess what? You can stand up and leave the restaurant and just wait outside until it's over. You don't need to sit there and listen to it. You don't need to fight with them. You don't need to jump up and try and grab the megaphone. You don't need to say a word to them or do a thing. You can just leave. There's never a reason to physically attack either of these people or any of us out there doing activism, even if you absolutely hate what we're doing. There are some vegans that don't agree with Tash and Jack. Everyone's going to have varying opinions on what they feel works best and what they don't feel works, and that's fine. And that goes for people who aren't vegan as well. They'll say, oh, why could you not be more like Earthling Ed? Why could you not be like this guy? That's fine. You can have those opinions. That's fine. What you can't do is throw stuff at people because you don't like the way they do things or because the way they said something upset you. You can't do that. It's ridiculous. It's a sign of emotional immaturity. It's a sign that you're not capable of using your words to have a conversation. It says way more about you that you can't deal with a situation by just literally moving yourself or using your words. It says more about you than it does about Tash and Jack, to be totally honest with you. And so, yeah, that one's wild. So if you want to vote for those people, those two young girls who are clearly have had bad parenting. Sorry to those girls' parents. I mean, but you messed up there. Your kids should not be going out and assaulting people because they don't like the words they say. It's ridiculous. Bad parenting is the code for that, guys. Bad parenting is the code for that one. That's just a quick one. I saw a couple of you voted already. I think that's a pretty good contender. All right. Vegan multitaskers. Hey, thank you guys for the super chat. Happy New Year to you both. Making an evening of the Rammys with a nice glass of Merlot and vegan steak. Much love from the three of us. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Have you got it on the TV? That's so cool. I love it when people say they've got me on the TV. It feels like I've really made it, you know? Feels like I've really made it. Like my face is on your TV. Is it high quality? Does it look sharp if I'm on your TV? How big is your TV if I'm on your TV? Feed my ego, guys. I want to know who's got the biggest TV and has me on it. Anyone got a 70-inch TV out there with my face on it? I'm not sure how I feel about that. You'll be able to see all the wrinkles in my face. I'm 35, okay? It's not because of veganism, all right? It's because I'm 35. Wrinkles are coming, guys. Age is coming. It's catching up with all of us, catching up to everybody in the chat. It's going to come for you, all right? Drink lots of water. Don't frown too much. Lizzie, your face is on my son's 55-inch TV. Boom, there it is. There it is. Natalie, you're on my TV and you look bad. You need protein. Funny. It's so cool. Oh, yeah, vegan multitaskers. Yeah, you're on the TV. Looks beautiful. 48-inch over here. 75-inch. You got a 75-inch projector, but scared to make you that large in the bedroom. Love that. I see why you'd be scared of that. I'd be scared of a 75-inch version of me on the wall as well. All right, then. Keep on voting, guys. Remember, you don't need to vote right now. You can save the codes that we've already been through. Let's go through the codes right now. Let's just give you a little catch up, just in case some of you are joining late or if you missed it, whatever it is, right? Whatever the reason is. So, the codes that you've got to choose from so far, we're not finished yet. You can vote now. You can vote later. Up to you. We had the Billboard Chris /vegan meltdown. We called that one The Triggering. We had Ed versus the Sausage Man, and we called that one Sausage Man. So that the code Sausage Man. So that's The Triggering and Sausage Man. They're your first two codes. We had the Reverend Hunter versus Cam from Cowspiracy, the hunter who got deeply upset when his own words were read back to him. Still blows my mind. And that one, the code for that is WWJD, or What Would Jesus Do? And then we just watched Tash and Jack getting assaulted in the street and in a restaurant. And we're going to call that one Bad Parenting, because those two people who did the assaults were kids. And that's just a clear sign of bad parenting. Those parents dropped the ball. That's where we're up to so far. Cliff, thank you so much for the tip, mate. Keep up your great work, David and Annie. Everyone, please support other animal rights activists. I agree, Cliff. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Legend. Cliff is a legend. Everybody go subscribe to Cliff. Go subscribe to Vegan Multitaskers as well. Awesome activists. And any other activists in the chat, just pop your ats in the chat right now and everyone can go subscribe to you. Next up, guys, we've got a guy here who you might have come across. Maybe you haven't come across. I will show you. So this guy got super famous around the time, I believe, like 2020. Okay, here he is. Peter Bog. I don't even know how to say that. Bogosian. I don't know how to say his name. He got super famous, I believe, around 2020 or something like that. I think his claim to fame is it was something to do with this whole, if you see his most popular videos, confrontation at Portland State University. I think he's one of these people that is all about free speech and stuff, and I think he did something. I don't remember what his claim to fame was, but he blew up anyways. His channel's got 217,000 subscribers. He does street interviews. It says here, return to sanity with Spectrum Street epistemology and conversations. So basically, he's all about crunching down logic, crunching through people's morals, finding out what they really stand for, what makes them tick, getting to the bottom of complex issues, culture war issues, things like that. And from what I've seen of this guy, I quite enjoyed his stuff. It seems interesting. He asks people open questions. He's had a vegetarian on there before who was arguing against meat, and he was pretty reasonable with her, more or less. Little bit irrational, a little bit weird at points, but then she was also not really that great as well, and it was a bit of a mishmash. But he was never rude, and it was all good and well most of the time. And I think a lot of people like him. And to be honest with you, outside of veganism, outside of animal stuff, I think he seems pretty solid, to be honest with you. I've got not really anything against the guy other than that. But unfortunately, he's on this list for a reason, isn't he? Because he's had a bit of a meat down. Quite recently, actually. So here it is. Here's his recent meat down. This was back on December 5th. Meat-based restaurant owners, he tweeted this, meat-based restaurant owners usually feel an obligation to provide vegan meals, but vegan restaurant owners never feel an obligation to provide meat-based meals. Now, that all by itself is not necessarily a meat down, all right? By the way, the code for him is I'm very smart. That's the code for him, okay? I'm very smart. So that's not necessarily a meat down. It's a stupid observation that takes literally 30 seconds of thought to understand why the case is as it is, right? So I suppose it kind of is a meat down because the guy is supposing himself, as you see here, return to sanity, street epistemology and conversations. Like, I'm the voice of reason, or I'm going to find out the voice of reason. I think about things, and that's what I do for a living. And it's like, well, you didn't think about this for very long, did you, mate? If not at all. Now, I responded to this, and I said, I understand how this might have seemed like a kind of aha moment, but vegans don't eat meat. So a vegan option at a meat-based place is necessary for vegans to be able to eat there. Everyone, whether meat eater or vegan, can enjoy the food at a vegan restaurant. There's no need for a meat-based option, just without even bringing in the ethics, right? And I said that's without considering the obvious issues a vegan restaurant would have with serving animal products, something they morally oppose, whereas meat-based restaurants don't hold such views. Now, my response got 176 likes, 13 retweets, and a couple comments. And his response, his actual tweet only got 3,000 likes. And so it's likely that he did see this. I mean, it's not top comment, but it's one of the more popular responses of mine. Okay. I'm pretty sure he will have seen it. And especially because I'm verified, that he will have seen the verified responses as a priority. So he probably saw this. Here's how he followed up on December, when was this? December the 5th, same day. It's amazing how triggered people were by this post. Let me go out on a limb. The same people who are feigning outrage at this are in favor of gender-affirming care for minors. If true, how could I have known that? They're completely unrelated. Like, what are you talking about? Triggered? Let me just give you my response, okay? I wrote it here. I'm one of the many people who calmly responded with an explanation for your little conundrum. I wouldn't call this being triggered. What's more a sign of a triggering is instead of just moving on after many people explained this to you, you've tried to paint them as triggered or feigning outrage and made baseless assumptions about their views on a completely unrelated topic. I've seen and enjoyed your videos discussing complex, heated topics with the public and was impressed with how you handled them mostly respectfully, but I find these posts to be pretty embarrassing. And that's it. That's the meat down. What a complete and utter anti-vegan meltdown that is, a proper meat down. Firstly, to make that post, I mean, what are you doing? Is this engagement farming? You're just looking to try and get lots of non-vegans, lots of meat eaters and animal eaters to just go, ha, stupid vegans, ha, ha, ha. Like, okay, well, that's lame if that's what you're doing. But then to follow it up and claim people were triggered when multiple people, not just me, multiple people gave really calm explanations of how, hey, you've missed a bit here. There's no real logic here. This is a bit silly. Then he just says, oh, well, you're all triggered. And, oh, I bet you all support this. I mean, come on. I mean, I think this was it's a minor meat down, but it definitely falls into the category of meat down, especially as this guy positions himself as some kind of high intelligence, super rational person, which clearly he isn't in this case. So that's why his code is, I'm very smart. That's his code. I'm very smart. If you want to vote for him. I know this one's not too popular, I see, with you guys. I mean, for me, I was involved in it. So that's why I feel like it was worthy of going in as a meat down, because it is a meat down. Maybe I'm biased, though, because, like I said, I was involved in it. Dillian, thank you for the super chat, mate. Is Katie Hopkins when she debated Joey Carbstrong, after Joey Carbstrong on the list? If not, can I nominate her? Happy holidays, everyone. Was that this? That wasn't this year, was it? The Oxford thing? Wasn't that last year? Let me double check. Oxford Union. I'm pretty sure that was last year. Yeah, that was last year, bro. Oh, wait. No, it was no, it was 11 months ago. It was January, maybe. Yeah, maybe you're onto something there. It was last year. It was last year, mate. 30th of December. Otherwise, I mean, I think I actually included that in last year's breakdown. I did include that, maybe. I did a video about it anyway. But yeah, thank you, Dillian, for the suggestion. But we definitely covered that one last year in one way or another. All right, I see no one voted for that one, huh? I think Peter just doesn't understand what veganism is. He seems to think veganism is a diet. Yeah, Louis, that could be the case. But then again, that still bodes badly for him, considering he positions himself as some kind of rational, critical thinker, you know, it doesn't look good. I mean, if you're going to comment on something publicly, you should know what you're talking about, shouldn't you? Right? And especially if you're posing yourself as like a critical thinker of some sort. That's what I think. All right, that's okay. That's okay, guys. We've got more. Okay, we've got more. Next one is not such a fun one. Gotta be honest. It's quite a serious one, all right? But we're including it because we're not only here just to have like some, you know, silly banter. There is also some serious conversations that need to be had. And this one is wild, okay? This just happened. This happened 4 days ago. Someone pulled a gun on an animal rights activist, and it's on camera, fully documented. This is crazy, okay? Now, the code for this one is not so sensitive, I'll be honest with you. The code for this one is COD enthusiast, Call of Duty enthusiast, COD enthusiast, because I think this guy who did this thinks he's playing a bloody video game the way he acts here. You got to see this. So let me give you the context, all right? So Direct Action Everywhere, if you don't know who they are, they're a group that does disruptive activism, which basically means they go to places that do bad things to animals. Like this, in this case, it's a hotel that is serving foie gras. So they go to the hotel, make a load of noise, ruin everyone's day, and say, we're going to keep coming back and doing this until you drop foie gras. It's a form of pressure campaigning. And so they did that. This is the kind of thing they do. This is what they did in this one. They went to this hotel and they started causing some noise and some ruckus. And I've got two angles here. You might have already seen this video. It's gone pretty viral, but I have a second angle you might not have seen that shows it in a different, you see like a little clearer and a little more what happened. So this guy is here. He's on the megaphone. He's shouting. Let's see if we get some volume. Hopefully it's not too loud. That's good. That's assault. That's assault. Then this guy comes in on the left and look at his hand. You see that? That's assault. That's assault. Here he is. He pulls a gun. You see it in his hand there? How crazy is that? Now I'm going to get you the other perspective of this so you can get a fuller picture of it. This is a little longer as well. Keep watching, you'll see him. Here he is, look, here he is coming up. Pulls out the gun, watch this. Boom, look at that. How crazy is that? He holds it up to the guy's neck. You see that? It's just off camera, but he's holding it up to the guy in blue. He's holding it up to his neck. Let's watch that again. You can just see, because he lifts it up. He lifts it up towards his, watch. Look, see, wait, like that. And then there it is, boom, in his neck. Absolutely insane. Unbelievable. Oh my God. It's just wild. America is wild, but that is absolutely wild. Remember that to vote for this guy is probably the most obvious in your face meat down I think we've seen probably in the history of the meat down of the year, the history of meat down or meat flake of the year. This is absolutely insane. Look at that. Just pulls out a gun, just pulls out a handgun and starts pointing it in people's throats and pointing it at people because they protest, because they have a chant going on. They're not threatening anybody or doing anything. They're literally just chanting loudly. And this guy thinks that's a reason inside a private establishment, inside a hotel full of people, by the way, full of innocent people. So even if somebody was to say, well, you know, these vegans, they're like threatening or whatever. Okay, what about all the innocent people around the vegans? Do you not know how guns work? If you don't think the vegans are innocent and you think the vegans deserve to have a gun pulled on them, do you think the random people just sat around at the bar and stuff deserve to potentially get shot because of this guy pulling a gun? So, you know, so even in the worst case scenario, which, by the way, you would be very silly to think vegans deserve to have a gun pulled on them, for animal rights activists deserve to have a gun pulled on them for chanting or using a megaphone. It'd be very silly. But even if you do think that, even if you do think they deserve it, again, what about all the other people? It is so irresponsible and so absolutely just ridiculous, disgraceful for you to pull out what I assume is a loaded weapon in a public space because you didn't like words that people were saying to you. Insane. Insane. So if you want to vote for this guy, who I think is the most obvious complete and utter meltdown of 2024, COD enthusiast is the code for that. COD enthusiast, Call of Duty enthusiast, because I don't know what he thinks he's doing. I think he thinks he's in a video game. Maybe you don't just pull out. Who knows if it's loaded? We assume it is. I don't know. You don't pull a gun on somebody because of words. Or maybe some words, fair enough, but not on this occasion. Not in this case. That's for sure. Words about foie gras and a hotel serving it is not grounds to pull a gun on somebody. Maybe if someone's threatening to shoot you, you'd pull a gun out. His finger was on the trigger, Natalie says. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he got arrested, right, Natalie? Can you confirm this guy got arrested, right? I believe he did. Anyway, I believe he got arrested. Oh, that reminds me, by the way, previously in the first one we showed with the vegan meltdown and the Billboard Chris, I forgot to tell you that vegan got arrested. By the way, he got arrested and then he got released on the condition he can never go back to that place and he can never engage with Billboard Chris. That was kind of his conditions of release. Natalie says, confirming now that this gunman, this moron, was arrested and spent Christmas in jail. Wow. Crazy. Imagine giving up your Christmas and spending it in jail because you pulled a gun on people because they were speaking loudly and using a megaphone. You pulled a gun on them and now you're in jail for Christmas. Wow. So silly, huh? What a stupid way to get yourself locked up. I mean, there are really dumb ways to get yourself locked up. That's probably one of the dumbest ways to get yourself locked up. What can we say? We're down to our final nomination, our final one for you to vote on. So I hope you've got all your codes. We'll go through them all. Don't worry. You don't have to remember all the codes. Remember, if you already voted for somebody, don't vote for them again, but you can vote for everybody. That's your call, but don't vote twice or 3 times or anything like that. Just once for each person, please. Okay, the last one we're going to look at. It is another situation involving our friends from Cowspiracy, because they also went on and had a bit of a hoo-ha with Piers Morgan. Hey! We couldn't be a Meatdown of the Year awards without featuring Piers Morgan, now could it? And to be honest with you, throughout 2024, he's not been the worst. He's not been as bad as he always has been. It's been a little different. It's not been as bad. But he did have a moment with Kip and Cam from Cowspiracy. And we're going to watch a little clip of this one because this is a longer video. It's a 20-minute video. But we're going to watch just this segment here where the title is, "Give me one piece of evidence that proves Jesus was a vegetarian." And then also, I think we'll watch a bit of him accusing them of making the film to make money. So let's have a watch of this. Now, the code for this one is going to be WWJD Piers. What would Jesus do, Piers? That's the code. WWJD Piers. If you want to vote for Piers Morgan as 2024's Meatdown of the Year, because he does have a Meatdown here.
Give me one piece of evidence that proves that Jesus was a vegetarian.
Well, again, we're not here to prove that Jesus is a vegetarian. We're here to raise really important questions that haven't.
Give me one fact that establishes he was a vegetarian.
Well, here.
So the Meatdown's already begun because they've barely even started talking and Piers already interrupted them.
Yeah, here's something that suggests something worth considering, which is that Jesus' own brother, James the Just, that everyone knows, in multiple historical documents, in the first paragraph that describes him, it describes that he never ate flesh. From the time of his birth, he never ate flesh.
So
this
his
is Jesus' own brother. So
just to be clear, his brother was a vegetarian.
Whoa, what just happened to the... You guys still there? I just had a really weird... really weird thing happened on my laptop here. Give me a confirmation that we're still live, guys. Something strange is going on my side today. The powers that be don't want us to find out who Meatdown of the Year Award 2024 is going to go to, apparently. We're still good. We're still good. All right, cool. I don't even know what just happened. My system just had a Meatdown, apparently. Are we good? Are we back on? It seems like we're okay. Okay. Yeah, all good. All right, cool. Just me then. Just me having all these technical issues today. All right, sweet.
You're saying, so that means Jesus was.
Who took on the movement after Jesus?
Wait, hold up. Let's go.
At the time of his birth, he never ate flesh.
So
this
his
is Jesus'
brother,
own brother.
Sorry, so just to be clear,
Mary,
his brother was a vegetarian, you're saying, so that means Jesus was.
Who took on the movement after Jesus got crucified? Who carried on the same movement that Jesus was part of? He carried it on.
Right, but if I
James.
said, if you guys did a movie and the pretext was I'm a murderer, and when I got you on to talk about where's your evidence, and you went, well, your brother murdered someone, that's not great evidence.
Well, it's not just.
It's so crazy that this is evidence that this is a Meatdown, and it's not reasonable. If a historian told you, so we know, or we could assume, or we could predict, let's say, that this individual here was likely to be a vegetarian, as his brother started this vegetarian movement, and after his brother's death, this guy, his brother, took it on board and continued with the movement as he was aligned with it and agreed with it. Historically speaking, because you can't go back, you can't ask the people what happened, and if it's not like completely documented and it's not, blatantly documented, you'd say, well, I think we could safely assume or presume that he was likely to be vegetarian too. It was likely because he took over the movement his brother left behind, and it was a vegetarian movement, right? Piers, instead of saying, oh, that's a pretty reasonable way of looking at it. Okay, yeah, I see what you're getting at there. History's complicated, and we lost documents, and we lost this, and we lost that, and it's not all clear. And back then, people didn't write things down. There's a lot of stuff going by word and passed on generation to generation. And in the area of the world where Jesus actually lived and grew up and whatnot and operated, it wasn't a very notable area, so not a lot of people were doing records over there, and not a lot of people knew how to read and write, and it wasn't a particularly interesting area for historians or anybody who documented history. So there's a lot of stuff missing, right? Instead of being like, okay, yeah, cool, he goes, well, if they made a film about my brother and he was a murderer, would you say that I'm also a murderer? It's such a complete nonsense way of interacting with what Kip and Cam are putting forward, like quite an intellectual, quite an interesting kind of position from their research. And well, this is what we researched. And, but instead of being reasonable and getting into the research and getting into where that comes from, he just has a Meatdown and just attacks their point and makes such a silly comparison, and it's kind of, I would say it's kind of what you expect from Piers, but honestly, sometimes he doesn't do this. Sometimes Piers is actually quite reasonable and able to have a relatively intellectual conversation. But every time vegan and animal rights stuff comes up, he just doesn't do it. He has a complete Meatdown. And this is just one more example of it.
James, either the forerunner of the movement, John the Baptist, was known in multiple historical sources to eat only plant-based foods.
What's that got to do with Jesus? You're just naming other people.
Well, because Jesus carried on the movement of John the Baptist. John the Baptist was out in the wilderness giving a replacement.
Where is a single quote from Jesus
through ritual cleansing
that suggests he was a practicing vegetarian? You don't have one. The whole movie is based on a completely spurious pretext for which you have zero evidence. You've done it to make money and to capitalize on the big Christian market. As a Christian myself, I find that quite offensive.
It's so good.
You need to watch the film first off, and you'll see there's overwhelming evidence in there proving not just vegetarian of what he was about and the movement was about.
I just asked you to give me one piece
theologians' truth.
I just asked you to give me one bit of evidence which proves he was a vegetarian. You couldn't give me one.
Well, I'll say this, in the movie, we bring up the Gospel of the Ebionites, which scholars, there's a consensus that this was an original document, the original Hebrew document of the Gospel of Matthew that the Ebionite tribe used, the Ebionite movement, and these are the people that followed James the Just, Jesus' brother, and they have an original statement from Jesus that says, I do not want to eat this Passover lamb with you. this is a document that we don't have anymore. Again, your Piers Uncensored. I would suggest, and many scholars suggest, that this document was censored a long time ago, 2,000 years ago.
Conspiracy.
So we've lost this.
So there's been a global,
exactly.
there's been a global historical
So-
2,000-year conspiracy to prevent your version of events being proven. It's terrible.
Well, it's not our. No, it's
And then he responds with sarcasm to, and again, he's right. He's pointed out here that this is Piers Morgan Uncensored. So the point being that this is supposed to be a show that's uncensored, a show that deals with exactly the types of things that Kip and Cam bring up here. Piers is the journalist, or positions himself as the journalist who says yes to the people that the rest of the media says no to. He's the one that says, hey, do you know what? Everybody else is pushing you back because it doesn't fit the narrative. I'll bring you on my show because I don't care what the narrative says. I want to hear what you've got to say. Like, he's kind of like the Joe Rogan of the journalistic kind of news reporting world. He's open to everything and he has people on to debate all sorts. And sometimes he's reasonable, sometimes he's not. In this case, they're pointing out that it appears that there has been a 2,000-year cover-up. That's what the whole film is about. And instead of taking them seriously and saying, wow, that's really interesting, and that's what I'm all about, I'm super interested in this, give me more information, he just sarcastically dismisses them. Oh, yeah, is that a conspiracy? Oh, yeah, of course it is. It's like, man, if you weren't having such a meat down, you'd be super interested in this. It's just because these guys are animal rights activists that he will not engage with them the same way he would engage with somebody else who had similar views on some kind of different topic, or even the same topic. I reckon if Kip and Cam weren't vegans and they said, hey, no, we just did some research into this, I reckon Piers would be like, oh, that's super interesting. Wow, really? Oh, isn't that really interesting? What an interesting situation that is. And wow, why do you think they covered it up? And he'd be very intrigued, wouldn't he? And he'd be doing his journalistic duty as somebody who claims to be an uncensored channel that allows people to bring up things that get censored otherwise. But no, because they're vegans and because they're animal rights guys, no, you just got to play it down, make fun of them, have a complete meat down. And that's what he does. That's his whole interview. It's terrible. If you want to see the rest of this and my response to it, I've got a full video of this on the channel. Go and check it out. And to vote for Piers here, having his meat down and just completely just making fun of basically of a very serious and 7 years of investigation and decades more from all these other theologians, and he just dismisses it all and because they're vegans. I mean, that's an epic meat down. So it's the code for this, WWJD Piers. What would Jesus do, Piers? What would Jesus do, Piers? For that one, if you want to vote for Piers. And that's our final one. That's our final nomination for Meat Down of the Year 2024, guys. Okay, so let's go through all of them for you, okay? Again, let's make sure we've got everything straight. I saw somebody asking earlier on. We had the Billboard Chris, the vegan Billboard Chris meltdown from the beginning. All right, the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail one. The code for that one is the triggering. We had Ed versus the Sausage Man. This is the guy who ate the vegan sausage and then said it tasted like meat, and then it was revealed it was vegan. And he's like, oh, it tasted crap. He had a debate with Ed. We watched a little bit of that debate and just said things like, the human body needs animal protein, otherwise it'll get no protein. Said lots of things. What else did he say? What was the other thing he said at the end of that conversation that was funny? There was the protein thing, which was funny. That was it. The fake cabbage. He started talking about mock meat and vegan meat and say, well, if I try to feed you a fake cabbage, wouldn't you be upset? And it was just all very silly. So that's Sausage Man. The code is Sausage Man. Then we have the Reverend Hunter versus Cam from Cowspiracy. We just watched Cam from Cowspiracy. That was where the Hunter almost cries because Cam reads his own words back to him and asks him how they're Christ-like. Big meltdown there. That's WWJD. What would Jesus do? We had Tash Peterson and Jack Higgs being attacked in the street and then attacked in a restaurant by people throwing things at them, which was very, very horrible. Oh, and then also Jack getting punched in the face while trying to defend Tash as they came outside to confront them. The code for that one is bad parenting. Then we had Peter, I still don't know how to pronounce his surname, Bogosian, I'll say, Bogosian, the guy who calls himself some kind of critical thinker, rational thinker, super smart or whatever, and, you know, getting to the bottom of things and digging deep and all these kinds of things. And he made that post about oh, isn't it weird how vegan restaurants don't offer meat options, but meat restaurants offer vegan options? I'm very smart. And then when people pointed out to him that that wasn't a smart take whatsoever, because it's bloody obvious, people who eat meat can eat vegan food, but people who are vegan don't want to eat meat for moral reasons. Not complicated. He then claimed everybody was triggered and assumed that they would also believe in some of the stuff that he's against. Just very silly, just to switch subjects and try to accuse them of other things. That's I'm very smart. The code for that is I'm very smart. Then we had the guy who pulled a gun on the DXE activist, pulled a gun on an activist. And that guy is the cod enthusiast. He shoved a gun in the throat of an animal rights activist because they were saying things on a megaphone about a hotel serving foie gras. Nothing to do with this guy, but he pulled a gun on him. Unbelievable. Cod enthusiast for that one. I missed one. We have one more. Then we have the one we just watched. Piers versus Kip and Cam. That one's WWJD Piers. What would Jesus do, Piers? And we have one more. We have one more contestant for this one that I almost forgot. One more contender. I don't think this one's going to win, though. But we'll do it anyway. We'll do it anyway because I did prepare it. All right. So for this one, the nominee for this meatdown is actually the dairy industry. There is no individual person. It's the dairy industry because, as you're going to find out, in the UK, the dairy industry just got Oatly. The dairy industry got the UK government to ban Oatly from being able to call Oatly milk. They're not allowed to use milk on their packaging anymore. This is a bit of a clip about kind of what's happening. And also there is a bit of a meat down in this clip as well. But
it's the papers and everything else we need to talk about. Find out which celebrity FaceTimes their spouse for 9 hours at a milk. 020-7862-2222 is the number. Tell us what you think. Alternative milks have soared in popularity in recent years, broadly in line with the rise of so-called veganism. They're now available on most supermarket shelves. But the Swedish plant-based company Oatly has been told, and I've had a bit of Oatly, they've been told they can't use the word milk in their marketing anymore after a long-running legal battle with the trade body for Britain's dairy industry. So it's always going to be Britain where the fighting starts. The company's well known for its oat milk, or should we now say oat drink? Some farmers want it to be called oat juice, interestingly. As the Court of Appeal has ruled the term milk can only be used now to sell milk produced by animals. Is this the right decision? Is the game up? I think you think this is the right decision.
Oh, totally, yes.
You don't like calling things milk unless they're from an animal.
No, well, if you're going to drink milk, drink milk. If you don't want to drink milk, if you want something else, then have a different name for it. But it's, But
also oat milk is created from oats, and I know whether they tread on them or press them or whatever.
Anyway, we'll just stop here. This guy is not a contender, but he could have been from what he just said there. He seems like very but it's not milk, is it? It's not milk. Oh, so what do you call coconut milk, bro? What do you call coconut cream? What do you call peanut butter? What do you call these things? Because, hey, butter, cream, and milk. Oh, but if it doesn't come from an animal, it's not butter, cream, or milk because it's not dairy. Okay, so peanut butter. I'd love to hear what he had to say about that. Coconut cream, coconut milk. Love to hear what he'd have to say about that. What else is there? Spotted dick. Spotted dick is the popular dessert, or used to be anyway, in the UK. Spotted dick. It's not something you go to the doctor for. It is something that you eat. Well, it could also be something that you eat and go to the doctor for. Not recommended. But in the UK, it's a dessert. Okay, it's a dessert. That's what I'm referring to here. And it isn't literally what it says in the dessert, is it? The name. That's the point of that one. There's more examples. Hot dogs. They're not hot dogs, are they? They're not dogs, but we call them hot dogs. What else have we got? I wonder if this guy takes issue with all of those. I mean, this is a really tired argument. I'm aware of it. I'm sick of saying it too. I think you guys are sick of hearing it. I'm sure. Okay, I'm sure. But in this case, the subject of our voting is not him. The subject is the dairy industry. And the voting, if you want to vote for the dairy industry here as the meat down of the year, because they came out, they were having such a meat down that they got Oatly banned from using the word milk. Banned from using the word milk in their marketing. That's how much of a meat down they're having. The code is dairy is scared. Not dairy is scary, it is, but the code is dairy is scared. Because clearly they're scared. If we weren't a threat, if Oatly wasn't a threat, if we weren't a threat, they wouldn't be fighting it. They would not try to get Oatly banned from using the word milk if Oatly weren't a threat to their bottom line. That means that we are making progress as a movement. That means that Oatly is part of the progress and it threatens them. That is huge. if they did nothing, if they just allowed activists, if they just allowed vegan products to exist using milk, using all these words, if they allowed all of this and did nothing, that would be scarier actually for us than them fighting us. Them fighting us is good. It is so good. It's not good when they win. I'll give you that. It's not good that they won this battle, but it is fantastic that they think it's a battle worth fighting because it means it's impacting them. And that's good. So good. So I'm happy about brands like VFC, Vegan Fried Chicken. That's why I'm happy about all these brands that make a deal of saying, hey, we exist as an alternative to the bad things that these companies do to animals or to the environment or to your health. The ones that are not afraid of bringing that up, I have the most respect for them. They're fantastic. Because not all animal-free alternative companies make a case of that. A lot of them just, which is fine, a lot of them just say, hey, look, here's a burger without any meat. And you're like, cool. But I love the ones that go, here's a burger without any meat. No cows were killed for this. How cool is that? Oatly, we don't mess with the cows. We don't involve cows. We love cows. That's kind of their brand. There's milk for humans, not milk for cows. This is what we're about. I like Oatly for that. VFC does the same thing. They're like, hey, look, it's chicken, but we didn't kill any chickens for it. And we go and investigate these chicken farms to show you what we don't put in our food because we don't believe that's all right. We think that's bad. I love VFC for that too. It's honestly, I love companies that do that. And clearly they are a big threat. It's great. So again, dairy is scared is what we're looking for to vote for that one. Okay, then. Get your votes in, guys. You're able to vote now from now on until I say stop voting. I'm not going to say stop voting until let's say you can vote for all of those, just once, remember, only once per nomination, but you can vote for all of them, but only vote once per nomination. Now we're going to go through some different awards while the votes are being tallied. So my wonderful assistant is currently off camera. She'll tally the votes. She'll get everything ready. The votes are still open, so they can keep being tallied, okay? And then eventually, once we're ready, we'll reveal it. Don't go anywhere because you're going to want to know the answer, right? I've seen some people, you're requesting a poll. No, we don't do a poll because then you'll know who wins before I get to reveal it. This is not what do you think this, guys? What do you think this is? Some kind of low budget thing here? I mean, when you're watching the Eurovision, do you find out who won by a poll on the screen, or do you have to wait until the end? You know, this is an official awards ceremony, guys. You can't just find out who's winning as we go. No. You've got to wait for the big grand reveal. We can't do a public poll that everybody can see. Come on. No, we don't do that. What do you think this is? Come on now. Benzine, thank you so much for the super chat, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you. And also Otters and Elephants, thank you. Thanks for what you do. Really appreciated your interview with the vicar last week. Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. And it was very wonderful interviewing the vicar. Really cool with getting to know Philip and what he's about. Good guy, nice guy, very inspirational. All right then, let's get through onto our two more. We have two more awards to give to people who aren't vegan. And then we'll go into the vegan awards, where we're going to celebrate some of the incredible work done over the year, over 2024, by some of our favorite people. First off, though, we're going to give the Most Improved Meatdown Award. The Most Improved Meatdown. Guys, okay, my choice for the Most Improved Meatdown could possibly upset some of you, okay? But the thing is, this is a sensitive topic. Because what we're dealing with here, when I say Most Improved Meatdown, this award is for somebody or some group or someone who was significantly improved on their, let's say, their take on vegans, on their take on animal rights, on the way they see things, just a group or someone who is no longer having such extreme reactions or has opened their minds a bit more. So it's not necessarily a huge celebration, but obviously it's difficult. It's a difficult one to decide on, okay? It was a difficult one for me to decide on. And not everybody agrees with these when I give these out. Last year it was a little bit, as well. Some people were like, okay, I get it. Some people were like, I don't really vibe it. This one's probably going to be a little bit more of that because I'm giving the award for the most improved meat down of 2024 to American conservatives. Yeah. That's a pretty bold one, huh? Now, let me explain myself as to why I'm giving American conservatives the award for the most improved meat down, okay? Someone's asking, what is a meat down? When an anti-vegan has a meltdown, basically, is what it is. That's a meat down, okay? Now, this is a controversial award, and I'm aware of that, but when we consider the usual kinds of meat downs that we see from the conservative spaces over the years, they've been pretty bad over the years. Conservatives can be pretty damn hardcore anti-vegan and anti-animal rights, okay? But 2024, I feel like this has been a little different, okay? There's been a significant improvement from my perspective on how some of these communities and some of these groups have viewed animals and animal rights. I've actually seen some pretty big name conservative commentators speaking positively about animals and animal rights, especially in the last month or so, like 2 months or so. And with conservative politics taking a stronger hold across the US and across Europe, this is incredibly important. And to me, it's a very welcome change from the usual adversarial energy that I've seen out there, which there's still a lot of course, but it does seem like things are looking better. Now, let me explain why I'm giving the award for the most improved meat downs to this group. So when the first time I started to pay attention to these guys, started paying attention to how this was changing, was when I did the video about Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. I started to research that. I did the video about it. And basically, for those who don't know, briefly, the New York state seized a rescued squirrel and a raccoon from an animal rescue or animal rescuers and killed both of the animals under the excuse that they were testing for rabies. Neither of these animals had exhibited any symptoms of rabies. There was nothing visually wrong with them, okay? If you don't know what they look like, if you've not looked into this, let me show you. This might be nice to have their images up while we talk about this. I've covered this a couple of times on the channel. So this is Peanut the squirrel here. Okay, and excuse me, my throat's going a little bit. And that's Fred the raccoon. All right, both cute, lovely little animals, rescued, living with the individuals who rescued them, who a lot of people have criticized for various different reasons. Some of that might be legit, some of that maybe not. Regardless, the animals themselves were killed in a very, very unjust, very horrible, unjust way. They were technically rescues, could have been considered people's pets, stolen from their homes by an armed authority with no choice, no way to stop them, and then they killed them. Now, what happened was there was a huge backlash, and surprisingly, the backlash to this was mostly conservatives expressing concern. Now, obviously, with it being New York government, there was probably some political motivation here with some conservatives joining in here and speaking about this, but not all. And there were a lot of big accounts that were giving genuine, heartfelt messages, pro-animal messages in the wake of this, which I was really surprised about. And I've gone through those all of those in a different stream, so we won't do that again. But take my word for it, I'll go and check out the other stream that I made about this situation to find out all these different accounts, huge accounts. We're talking 500,000 followers, people giving really heartfelt tweets and speaking about this and saying this is, wrong on so many levels and how they empathize and care about these animals and things like that. On top of that, we have Tulsi Gabbard, who, to my knowledge, is still vegan. She was vegan for 4 years ago. She's, to my knowledge, still vegan, and she's in a high position of power within the conservative government in the US, or will be when Trump comes in and takes over in January. So that's very, very promising. The vice president's wife is vegetarian, And J.D. Vance has been saying that he supports vegetarian Indian food. He eats a lot of it. He's not big on the mock meats and stuff, but that's fine. Some people aren't. But his wife being a vegetarian is pretty positive, right? I mean, the vice president's wife is vegetarian. That's got to mean something. I mean, it's not very often. In fact, I mean, go through the history of politics in all countries. How many times has someone in such a high position been so close to somebody who is vegetarian or a vegan or makes any kind of positive animal decisions, right? It's promising. And as I say, we're in a position now where, like it or not, these are the people that are going to run the most powerful, influential country on Earth, right? So we've got to look for the silver lining here. Also, this blew me away. I had no idea about this. The Republican National Conference, the RNC, had a vegan barbecue stand. This is a Republican convention that had a vegan barbecue stand. I didn't even see this. This was back in July 17th, this year. I had no idea this happened. Did you guys know this happened? That's really cool. And apparently it went well. Apparently people, it was relatively popular. No one protested it or anything. No one tried to rip it down. So that's cool, I think, right? I mean, to me, that's awesome. And it's one of the signs that maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see the end of some of this really harsh behavior towards animal people from this side of the political spectrum. Maybe we're just turning a corner. Who knows, right? It sounds good. You've also got Vivek Ramaswamy, who is the... if you don't know who he is, I got a picture of him up. Sorry, I don't know. I didn't do that. I'll bring him up here. Vivek Ramaswamy, sorry. This guy is also involved in a high level of politics now in the conservative side of things, working directly with Trump, working also with Elon Musk. And he is a vegetarian as well. So that's something. And we'll come back to that. Now, let's be honest here, right? The conservatives who are pro-animals, who seem to have, improved, let's say, in terms of the meat downs, they are contesting with the Trump family, who are unfortunately hunters, right? Although Trump has expressed some consideration for animal cruelty, he's brought in anti-animal cruelty laws, and he also expressed concern, and his family expressed concern with Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon as well, albeit most likely politically motivated. Elon Musk is heavily involved in government, and he also expressed a lot of concern for pet animals and these animals rescued in these sanctuaries. However, let's be honest, Elon Musk, his Neuralink company does do animal experimentation, and that's something, again, that is going to have to be contested with hopefully these people who care about animals can try and influence him to stop doing that, but I wouldn't hold my breath. You've also got RFK Jr., who is going to be the lead on the health side of things in the American government. He's a hunter. He's done some very weird stuff with wild animals. He took a dead bear from the woods and brought this dead bear into the city or something like that. I don't know. He's done some weird things. So he's not a great guy. Again, it's contesting with him. However, there is some hope because it appears that he's against factory farming and wants an end to it. And potentially, him and the Trump administration will remove a lot of money from factory farming. They'll remove subsidies, which makes it a lot harder for it all to work. So, look, the situation still appears to be pretty bad for animals, as it is in most countries on Earth. But hopefully in the next 4 years, we see more of this positive energy that has been expressed throughout the Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon situation. People like Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek Ramaswamy up there as well. Hopefully, we're going to see a turn here, like a bend and a bit of a things maybe get better, especially with regards to making factory farming and factory farms more difficult to operate, making them less profitable and more expensive, and taking away the money to make it more difficult for them to operate, which would have a huge impact on animals, just a monstrous impact on animals if they go ahead and go through with that and don't give in to all the lobbying that's most likely going to be happening to try and convince them to not do that. But we'll see. We'll see anyway. So that's pre-vegan of the year. So pre-vegan, no, sorry, that's not the one. That one was, the most improved meat downs of the year, the American conservatives. Now we're going to do pre-vegan of the year. And the Pre-Vegan of the Year award is in the same vein. Whoops. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. I just lost my bloody tab, didn't I? It's been all fun and games today with the technical side of things. It's like I forgot how to stream. So, our Pre-Vegan of the Year award. Again, probably controversial, but let me explain. I'll explain how I came to this conclusion. Once everything starts working. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Are we still on? Having some real problems today with the internet and such. Am I online right now? Believe it or not, guys, this might come as a shock to you, but we're having more technical issues. Who knew? Having more technical issues. All of a sudden, just nothing works. I have nothing. I mean, literally, I have blank screens in front of me. I can't see the chat. I can't see anything. But maybe... Like, I'll be right back, guys. Let me try and fix this. I'm going to put you on pause again, keep you in suspense for Pre-Vegan of the Year, and then you're going to have to stick around because you want to find out who's going to win Meatdown of the Year 2024, and also these awesome vegan awards we're giving out. So don't go anywhere. What's up, guys? We fixed it. I'm not going to explain what it was. It's just nerdy stuff, all right? But let's do our award, Pre-Vegan of the Year. So, Pre-Vegan of the Year, this award we're giving out to someone who isn't vegan, okay, but is showing signs that they could be about to go vegan. Like they hold views that are aligned, let's say, with veganism, and they could be going vegan in 2024. Okay, and this award is going to go to someone that we already just spoke about. All right, we're going to give this award to no, not this. All right. It's the same image as before because I need to change it over. Give me 1 second. And we're going to get back on track once I fix this, okay? Just got to bear with me. We're getting it back. We're getting back on track. Here we go. Boom. Sorted. We're giving this award to Vivek Ramaswamy for Pre-Vegan of the Year. Why are we giving the award to Vivek Ramaswamy for Pre-Vegan of the Year? Well, let me show you why. Because Vivek Ramaswamy is a vegetarian. The reason that he is a vegetarian is the same reason that we're all vegan. Here he is on a podcast explaining it briefly. And this is part of the reason why we're going to give him Pre-Vegan of the Year.
You are vegetarian for religious and moral reasons, and that you also don't partake in any sort of like drinking or vices, like smoking anything as well. I'm just curious, like, why do you decide to, like, how is it a moral reason to be vegetarian from your perspective? Because for me, I like eating meat. I think it tastes great and all, but morally, I'm conflicted on it. How do you draw that distinction between, like, okay, for your own personal sake, you deem it as immoral, and also for the other vices?
Well, I think there's the choices that we make in our own lives that are totally different from the policy perspectives,
of course,
that we offer on others, right? So I've been a CEO of a company. Well, do we serve meat at company events? Yes, we do. Because I believe that each person is able to make the choices that they deserve to make that's best for them. And certainly from a policymaking perspective, I'm a hard libertarian when it comes to people being able to make whatever decisions suit them and not legislating one form of morality. So put that to one side. I was raised in a vegetarian household, but the reason I remain vegetarian is that all else equal, I would rather not kill an animal for my culinary pleasure. If my life depends on it, absolutely. Not going to think twice. If my nutrition actually depends on it, like if I'm going to be less healthy in some way, absolutely, I would do it in a heartbeat, no problem. Because I do think that that's a trade-off that's justified. If it's going to allow us to live a more effective life, then absolutely. So are there circumstances in which I would do it? Absolutely. But I'm able to get that in ways that don't require killing a sentient being. If I can do it that way, I'll do it that way. That's the way I look at it.
And then what?
So to be clear, there was a little bit of kind of stuff fixed in there because he wants to make sure that he's not appearing radical so that he still gets the votes and people still like him, to be honest with you. I think that seems... But the language he used there, if I can get my nutrition without killing a sentient being, then I'll do that, right? I will not kill sentient beings to get my nutrition. I don't need to. Was the basic crux of his argument, which is ultimately what we say when we are vegan. When people say, why are you vegan? Well, I don't believe in, we say killing, but I also don't believe in exploiting, hurting, breeding, all these things. We don't want to do those things to sentient beings. We don't do those things to animals. We get our nutrition from other places. And that's ultimately what he said. So to me, that puts him firmly in the bracket, in my eyes, of pre-vegan. And the reason I'll put him in there as a Pre-Vegan of the Year, the reason I give him the Pre-Vegan of the Year award for 2024 is that it's not just the first time he's spoken about this. Here's something he said back in 2020. What do we do today that the next century's activists will denounce? Perhaps they will tear down statues of today's leaders who kill animals for culinary pleasure. I can't say for sure. Judging the past by today's standards is easy. Judging today by tomorrow's standards is hard. So he uses the example here that potentially in the future, people will pull down the statues of leaders who killed animals for taste pleasure. What a bold thing to say. Does that not sound like a vegan to you? Somebody who's vegan ethics? Sounds like this was back in 2020. He also responded to someone saying back in 2021, I'm a vegetarian. I believe in animal rights, so I'm not going to argue against saving dogs and turtles. This was in response to somebody else. Recently, well, this one was back in 2024, August 2024. He had this segment within a whole other segment. I'm vegetarian because I believe it is wrong to kill sentient animals for culinary pleasure. He then goes on to talk about these other things, about he doesn't force it on other people, basically. He doesn't force it on his company and things like that. But just to make that statement as a high-level politician with a lot of power, I am vegetarian because I believe it is wrong to kill sentient animals for culinary pleasure. How many vegetarians do you see say something like that? Most, if not many vegetarians are vegetarian for health reasons. But he's here saying, no, I'm vegetarian because I don't think it's right to kill animals. And then this one was the most recent one back in November. Animal cruelty will eventually become a genuine concern for conservatives. It's already happening. Count me in. Which is so bold for somebody in his position. I mean, remember, this guy was running for president at one point. So, this is a very influential person. And this is a huge, and look at the likes, 55,000 likes. So this is people who support him, a conservative agreeing that animal cruelty should become a genuine concern for conservatives. A big deal. There was also a response that he responded to Wayne Chung, which I can actually go find that now. I don't know where it went earlier on, but I will just find it for you and we'll have a look because this is really cool. Maybe I can just search Wayne. Oh, come on now. Where'd it go? This is about Trump and stuff as well. And okay, well, that's annoying. He responded to a tweet by Wayne Chung. You guys know. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Shouldn't be. So Wayne said, wow, in response to this one. And then he responded, it shouldn't be a partisan issue to end animal cruelty. I tried to live my life accordingly, unrelated to politics. So to me, this guy is on the road to becoming quite an influential vegan, quite an influential animal rights guy. And he is in a position with a lot of power and a lot of sway. And that's quite an exciting prospect. So he gets pre-vegan of the year for 2024. Vivek Ramaswamy. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that I understand this is always a controversial pick for these two awards, the pre-vegan of the year and the most improved meat down of the year. Always controversial, but we've got to. I think it's good to acknowledge these things, and I think it's likely that someone like Vivek, who's saying all these things, I think it's likely that he'll become a vegan. Maybe he won't say it publicly. Who knows? But I think it's likely. All right. Now, let's stop with the voting. No more voting now for the meat downs of the year, okay, guys? Voting has just ended for meat down of the year, all right? All the votes are in. They're being calculated. Now we're going to take a look at the vegan awards. And then once we've gone through the vegan awards, we're going to announce our meat down of the year 2024. Does that sound good, guys? Does that sound like a good way of doing things to you? Broccoli's in the chat. If that sounds good to you, give me some broccoli's in the chat. I noticed everyone went a little quiet when we gave out these non-vegan awards. I think that happened last year as well. I get it. It's not easy to give awards to people who aren't vegan. I understand, but at the end of the day, guys, we've got to welcome people in. Otherwise, they'll never come, will they? Got to lower the bridge, guys. Got to lower the bridge. Got to open the doors so they can walk across the bridge and so they can come through the doors, all right? Can't just lock heads with everyone all the time. We've got to give them an opportunity to come over, haven't we? I see a lot of broccolis. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see all the broccolis. Okie dokie. So we're going to start off with the award for Best Newcomer. Best Newcomer. So the Best Newcomer Award, this is for people or for somebody who has come onto the scene relatively recently, popped onto the scene relatively recently, but has been really good, right? Someone who's kind of come out of the blue. They might have been out of the blue for me, or maybe they just come out of the blue for everybody. Sometimes, I think last year in previous years, we've had people who seem new to me, but they've been doing it for a little while. So it's either or, okay. And we've got two kind of subcategories for Best Newcomer. We've got content, because obviously there is content for best newcomer. There's people who just literally only do kind of content, like, you know, viral videos, stuff like that. And then there are people who do full on the street, on the ground activism. And I've separated them because I don't think it's fair to only give accolades to people who do online stuff and not acknowledge the people who do real live stuff, because there's a very different skill set for these two things. And as we all know, there's a very different risk level for these two things. So I think it's really, we need to make sure we're always acknowledging that and giving the accolades where they're deserved. So we'll start off with the Content Award, Best Newcomer for Content Award, okay? So I'm giving the Best Newcomer Award for Content to Humane Vision. Do you guys know Humane Vision? Now, I don't know if Humane Vision is new, or just new to me. But from what I've seen, this guy has absolutely smashed it in the content this year. Like, it is insane. Have you guys seen this guy's channel? It is wild. Look at this. So he does videos that are mostly TikTok-y, singing, dancing, stuff like that, with vegan messages in them, for moral messages. Look at the view counts. 11 million, 3.4 million, 100,000, 100,000, 300,000, 2.6 million, 1.3 million, 1.7 million, 300,000, 900,000. You get the point. The guy has reached tens of millions of people with entertaining, fun, vegan, powerful vegan messages as well. Really strong moral messages, but in a fun way, in a silly way. And he strikes this balance that, honestly, for me, and he knows this, I'm sure he knows that some people cringe a little bit, especially the older generation, like with 35, older guys. You know, he gets really into it, and it's very TikTok-y, singy, dancey. It's not for me. I cringe at some of them. But just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean it ain't working. The guy is reaching a lot of people with this stuff. And it puts veganism across, and it puts these moral messages across in a way that is very digestible for a younger audience that is into TikTok and dancing and singing and stuff, right? And I think he's nailed it here. I think he's really nailed it, and I'm really impressed with him. And that's why he wins the Best Newcomer Award. We're going to watch one of his videos that doesn't have music, because the rest of them are all music and we can't share them for that reason on the stream. But this one is just, it's a different style to his other ones. It's still performed really well, but this will give you an idea of the kind of stuff he does.
A morning routine as a militant vegan. So it's 6 a.m. and I've started my meditation. And I normally like to meditate until I can convince myself that not all of humanity is terrible and hates animals. They just haven't seen footage of slaughterhouses yet. So a month after meditating, it's time for breakfast. And a lot like the meat eaters I talk to, I've also convinced myself I'm an apex predator. The only difference being, I don't hunt dead animals wrapped in plastic from a supermarket. No, I hunt down my neighbor's freshly cut lawn clippings. Now, after a beautiful breakfast is when things start to get a little bit haunting. Because what I'm about to do will put the fear in every non-vegan's eyes. What I'm about to do is so unnatural and controversial. It's the reason many question veganism itself. What I'm about to do is consume a B12 supplement. So anyway, after that I just supplement some protein powder like every other gym bro. And then I go back to do it all again, because this is my morning routine.
So this is the kind of content he makes. As you can see, it's engaging, it's entertaining. He's smashed this niche and he's just doing so well in it. And it's, as I said, I don't know if he's like brand new, if he's been doing it for maybe, I don't know, longer than a year or, but to me, he's new. And I'm just really impressed with him. So definitely get over and give him a follow. Smashing it out there. Humane Vision, humane_vision on Instagram. Doing a really, really good job. Congratulations on the win, mate. And then we have another Best Newcomer Award. And this one is for someone who does activism on the ground. So a slightly different approach to things. Obviously, as I said, it requires a little more risk than making the kinds of videos that Humane Vision's making. Not to undermine him at all, but obviously there's quite a big difference, right, between the two. And the Best Newcomer Award for on-the-ground activism that's still posted to social media, the stuff that we see, is going to go to John ARA. Congratulations, John ARA. John came onto the scene this year only, I believe, like only a couple of months ago, I think it was even. Let's have a look at his first video. 4 months ago, he came onto the scene. He's been standing outside supermarkets. This is him. Definitely go check him out. Go drop him a subscription. Standing outside supermarkets, refusing to leave when they ask him to leave, and talking to people. He's not been rude. He's not been shouty or aggressive or anything like that. But he just stood his ground when the managers told him to go and said, no, you can call the police. And then they don't call the police, and he just stays, and then he has his conversations with people outside of a supermarket. It's so bold, considering this is the first 4 months ago we started doing this, but he's just so bold and so confident and so brave. And it just, to me, just so impressive. So impressive. I mean, I've been doing this for years. I'd still feel uncomfortable with telling someone, no, I'm not moving. I'd feel really, I don't know. There's something about it, but he's just so cool and charismatic and just very chill, and the way he talks to people. Let's have a watch of a little bit of a watch of one of these videos. An 8-minute video, so we won't do the whole thing, but you'll get a vibe for what's going on.
You need to leave.
I'm not going to leave.
We'll be phoning the police.
That's fine, you can phone the police. You heard about this before, guys?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, shocking, isn't it?
It is.
It's carbon dioxide. It's like a stunning process. I've got a little camera over there. I don't mind being on camera there. I can blur your face.
No, I'm fine. I feel sorry for your camera.
Don't say that. Yeah, so it's a stunning process. It's Waitrose as well. You know, like Waitrose has got like quite a high welfare claim.
Yeah, I never trust that, mate. I mean, to be honest, for me, free range and organic. If I'm going to eat flesh, then I want it to have had a happy life.
That's what.
So happy hens.
Yeah.
Right. They've had a little bit of a time bimbling around the garden.
That's exactly the same attitude.
You know what?
I
I remember.
Yeah.
You may not remember this. Tesco's did a £2 chicken back in the early 2000s. And I remember buying, I couldn't find anything decent quality, but I had to go and buy a chicken. And I remember biting into the wing, and the bone just crumbled into dust. And that's the difference between battery, an animal that's had time to strengthen its bones and muscles, versus something in a cage like that.
Yeah,
never walks anywhere.
what they call meat broilers or meat birds. Yeah,
battery
the way we bred them.
Education's really important.
Yeah,
in
no,
food.
the broilers. Yeah, the way we bred them, they're killed at about 4 weeks old, and like as they get older, they can't even stand up. They'll die on their backs.
It is horrible. At 15 years old, I worked on a chicken farm, and I never ate chicken for that. So I'm a meat eater, right? I also love vegetarian food. I love all food. Yeah. But if you're gonna eat meat, make it happy meat, and that would be my position.
But right. The problem with that is, let's say they live happy lives. Like this company called.
You're vegetarian?
No, vegan. There's this company called Norfolk Free Range, and they still end up. They found out they still ended up in gas chambers. That's the problem. There's no free range slaughterhouse.
That's to do with maybe that's more to do with regulation. But if it's free range, at least it's had a happy life.
Yeah, but then
I understand what you're saying. No, I understand.
Problem
they're
is,
getting
mate,
death.
They're going in gas chambers. Do you want to see the footage? I think maybe you should see what you're paying for.
I will look it up because I'm interested, in learning. But I'm with two young ladies and I've not seen them for 5 months.
That's fair enough.
So have a good day.
I appreciate you talking to me. Yeah, but look at her, mate. Seriously, because
I heard you.
You should see the footage, honestly. Cheers, mate.
So what I really like about John is he's like Cliff in a way. You guys know Cliff Grant. He reminds me a little bit of Cliff because him and Cliff have this knack for being able to say things that, like when I talk, people get offended really quickly because I'm not very good at talking in ways that are calm. Let's say if I really focus, I can do it. But my natural way of speaking is to basically shout. I'm a very loud speaker. I'm always kind of, it always feels like people always feel like I'm getting up in their grill. And I'm not. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm so calm. But in their head, it's like, oh my God, this guy's shouting at me. And I'm really not. I'm genuinely not. But that's how I come across and I'm aware of it. Whereas with Cliff and John here, you see that he's saying the same things that I would say. But the guy would probably tell me to go F myself if I said them. Whereas when he says them, because he can say it in it's such a, we're on the same level kind of way of speaking that we're both chill here. Everything's calm here. And it makes the other people feel like I can talk to you like a buddy, like a friend. And John's really good at that. Cliff's really good at that. I'm still working on it. And I'm really impressed with it when I see it. And especially when I see it in someone who's been doing these videos for a couple months. John, dude, you're absolutely smashing it, mate. And please do keep it up. Now let's get to the conflict and see how John handles this conflict that comes up. I think it's around here. Let's have a look. So is it around here, mate? Let's see how he handles this, because this is a really good... It's a good... Like I was saying earlier, I'm really impressed with how he handles... Here we go. How he handles confrontation as well. So while talking to this guy about something private, the Waitrose staff confronted me.
It's lovely that that's your opinion, but it's not the opinion of everybody. So
Feeling harassed? Who's feeling harassed?
I can't say. We're politely asking you to leave, so we ask you to leave the area, please.
You know,
but you as a company, promote that all your animal-based products are higher welfare.
Yeah, and that is all
But
online.
Yeah, but it's misleading. You're not telling people in
not
the
quite as is promoted.
Exactly, and you don't tell people on the packets you're torturing pigs in gas chambers.
But also,
I appreciate. Also, by the way, guys,
there,
last person I spoke
nothing
to,
do
Cassie,
with
she was
this.
very, very approachable and very reasonable.
Our branch manager, yeah.
Yeah, is she not working today?
No, she's not here today.
She was very, very reasonable.
I watched this guy as I walked in, and I chose to go because he wasn't harassing anybody. He was stood quietly.
Yeah, we're just going on what our customers
We're just going
have
on
told
what our
us.
Yeah, but they don't.
saying,
Yeah,
it's
because
nobody's
people don't want to know the truth. People don't know want to know what they're funding. That's the problem.
Choice, isn't it? So
Yeah, people don't want
so
to know
yeah,
what
can
they're
we just
funding.
end
Yeah.
this and just ask you to move
I'm
on?
not going to
if
leave. No,
possible,
because this
you
is.
need to leave.
I'm not going to leave.
We're phoning the police.
That's fine. You can phone the police.
Because you're on private property,
Yeah, I
and we'd
understand.
like you
that.
to leave.
Yeah, I understand. that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will be ringing the police.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
It's very unreasonable, guys.
Do you know what, mate? I'll hang around if the police
Oh,
arrive.
you know what, mate?
and
I
speak
appreciate
up.
that. Thank you very much.
I mean, back to our original conversation. I mean, the number of hours I spent outside McDonald's back in.
So you see, the lady's getting irate, which I don't understand why she's getting irate. What kind of power? I mean, what kind of power trip are you on? You work at Waitrose. No offense, nothing wrong with working at Waitrose, but to come out here and be like acting as if it's your property, your home, or he's on your property, he's on your home property, and you feel threatened. It's like the way she's talking as if it's like you need to leave. It's like, mate, you get a salary from Waitrose. Why are you talking to him like that? Why do you care? He's not doing anything wrong. You've talked to him, you've had your discussion. You can go back into the shop and be like, you know what, it seems all right. You don't need to be telling him, no, you need to leave. You need to leave. Like, I've got the power here. You're an employee of a massive multi-million-dollar supermarket. You're not even security. What are you doing? But instead of John getting aggro and aggressive and telling, you don't, what are you like I've just said, what do you just work here? Like, why do you care? What's wrong with you? Instead of doing all that stuff, which I might be tempted to be honest with you. Probably not these days. Back in the day, I probably would have said something silly like that. It's not great to talk to people like that when, even if they are just being a bit of a job's worth. But John did exactly what I think that I would try to do now. What I would advise everybody to do is just to stand there and just say, yep, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, sure, do what you need to do, right? Yeah, you do your job. I know you've got a job to do. I'm staying. Cool. And it's difficult to do that when someone's being arsey with you and someone's confronting you like that. And a lot of people just shout at them. You can watch, I'm not going to name names, but there's other activists out there who, do this kind of thing and they're told to leave. They get irate back. I'm not going anywhere. How dare you? I'm staying right here. And I don't know if that's the good way to go about it, but I really do like that John here chooses this way. And again, for 4 months into it, 4 months making videos, to be able to have the big picture thinking, to be calm and keep you cool in front of a confrontation like that from someone telling you must leave. No, I'm not going to go anywhere, but thanks anyway. I love it, John. So John, best newcomer of 2024 for on the ground activism. That's the award for you, mate. Proud of you, bro. Keep it up. I love your work. Amazing. So there's our first vegan award. Our next vegan award. Oh, by the way, I did say to go and subscribe, right? Yeah, I think you got the link. Go and subscribe to John, please, if you don't already. In fact, I just realized that I don't. You see it on screen. Look, caught in 4K. There you go. Ba-bum. Sweet. Gotcha. All right. Next up, we have our One to Watch award. So the One to Watch award is an award for somebody that we want to keep an eye out for, somebody who has been making moves during 2024, someone who's impressed in 2024, okay? Making some power moves. Looks good. Looks like something big is coming. Looks like they're going to be they're going to do something special. They're going to do something grand, something amazing for animals. you know? And they've got a great future ahead of them. That's what this award is for. You should expect big things and you should keep your eye on these people, all right? This is what this award is for. So, my award for the one to watch for 2024 goes to Natalie Fulton. Natalie, congratulations. I hope you're still in the chat. You win the one to watch award. Now, why? Why do you win the one to watch award? Well, because we've been in contact for a while now, probably just over a year, and I'm just super impressed with your progression. I'm super impressed with your innovation. Your involvement in political activism over the last year has been really impressive. You've got this crazy energy, and your commitment to getting shit done is just so commendable. And also in terms of the content space, you are innovating, especially with this video, especially with this one. I tried being vegan in a food desert. When I saw this video, I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is more of what we need to see. Innovation, new types of videos, new styles of videos, new stuff that brings people in for a different reason, but then gets the message across. I've been bashing my head against the wall trying to figure out what is the next, I don't know, what is the next step? What is the next type of content we're going to use? What's going to come next? Innovation, you know? And I think Natalie's going to be one of the people to help us crack that code and reach new audiences. Now, we're going to watch this whole video because we are, you know, I'm aware of time. We're 2.5 hours in and we do want to get through the rest of the awards and make sure we give enough time for everybody and everything. But we're going to watch a little bit of this video just to give you a vibe of the level of innovation that Natalie's bringing to our movement and to the online activism space, as well as, of course, the physical, in-person, on-the-ground activism space, which she's been doing a lot of as well.
One common argument against veganism is that it's hard to be vegan in a food desert. There's some truth to this, as many working-class neighborhoods in America have limited access to healthy food. I've never lived in a food desert, but have often wondered about the validity of this claim, because vegan staples like beans, rice, and tofu are often the cheapest foods in the grocery store. So I decided to find out. Can you be vegan in a food desert?
I'm in Globeville in Denver. Unfortunately, this is a neighborhood that's been afflicted with an enormous amount of poverty. It is the most polluted residential zip code in the United States. And even though Denver is a wealthy city, this neighborhood is an exception. It is a true food desert. There are virtually no options for healthy food in this area.
Over the next 3 days, I'm going to have to follow 3 rules. I can only spend $10 a day on food, I cannot drive to get food, and everything has to be vegan, of course.
We just checked into the hotel and it's a bit later than we expected. I was planning on going grocery shopping today, but I'm feeling kind of lazy, so I think we're gonna get some fast food instead.
On any given day, 1/3 of Americans eat fast food, and I'm surrounded by fast food options, but it might be difficult to find something vegan.
Just walked to Wendy's. It was a really unpleasant walk. The air here smells pretty bad just from the interstate, and we're gonna see if they can make me anything vegan. Do y'all have any vegan stuff? No? Okay. Like you don't have like a veggie burger? No. Okay.
Some Subways have a veggie patty that is vegan. Not all locations have it, so I'm hoping that this one does.
Just a quick question. Do y'all have the veggie patty here?
We don't know.
All right, thanks.
I'm really bummed. I really wanted Subway. I've been thinking about it like all day, but we're gonna try Burger King. If they don't have the Impossible Whopper here, things are going to be desperate.
If I get the Impossible Whopper with no mayo, no cheese.
The number 3, or do you just want the sandwich?
Just the sandwich and the value fries.
Thank God for Burger King. That cost $9.69, so it's basically my entire budget for the day. Luckily, I only had to cover dinner today, but I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful tomorrow.
So that gives you the intro to the video. The rest of it is really good. So you should totally go and watch the rest of it on Natalie's channel. It's a great video, but as you can see, the production of it, it's not that it's like a super expensive camera or some kind of super expensive lighting rig or anything like that. It just tells a great story. It's edited really well. And honestly, I don't even know what camera she used, but it doesn't look like it's a particularly pro camera. It could easily be an iPhone in some shots, you know. And so the storytelling is great. The conclusion to the video is great. It gets across loads of vegan messages. It also highlights a human rights issue in that some people have to survive on fast food and make themselves extremely unhealthy, and how this is also a problem. And so it touches on, obviously, the number one issue, which is regarding animals. That's the core thing, but it also touches on an issue that's close to people's hearts, and that's human suffering as well. Manages to kind of blend them into a video that is playful in nature. It's really difficult to do that. There's a difficult kind of combination to find. And as I said, I personally find that to be very innovative. I'm really impressed with it. And so Natalie wins our One to Watch award for 2024. Congratulations, Natalie. Love this video. Love all your work. Smashing it. Next up, we have our Most Improved Vegan award. Most Improved. So this is somebody who, throughout 2024, has just improved a lot. Like someone who has been smashing it, someone who maybe beforehand was still good, or maybe they weren't so good. But then through 2024, they have just done really, really well and taken it to the next level, or, righted some of the wrongs or whatever it is. Now, again, we're going to split this one down into two. We have the content version of it, so the Most Improved Vegan based on content. And we also have the Most Improved Vegan based on the ground, real world, real life activism. We have two awards. All right, let's load up these awards then. Let's load up our winners. We have the winner of the Most Improved Vegan for 2024 in terms of content is... I'm going to keep doing the drum roll because I didn't load up the Instagram yet. Lifting Vegan Logic. Whoop, 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 whoop. Danny over at Lifting Vegan Logic. Guys, I've known Danny for some time now, some 2-3 years or so. And let me tell you, when I first started following Danny, his videos, YouTube videos were okay. Instagram videos were okay. He's always been a good activist. He's always been a good vegan creator. Always been good at making videos, right? Solid. Never been a bad video creator. I mean, we all make crappy videos in the beginning. Danny was already good. 2024, it's like the guy injected himself with content creator steroids. I don't know what he did. I don't know what changed. I don't know where the hell he figured out how to crack this, but he has cracked it good and proper. He's gone from being a good creator, a good video maker, to being an exceptional video maker. He's gone from being a good actor, pretty good at acting in his videos and playing his part, to being a fantastic actor, good editor, to being a great editor. He is everything. Every aspect of Danny's work has significantly improved over 2024. And you can see it in the results of his videos too. His videos are getting into the millions at times. I don't know why it's not loading them. They're getting into the millions. They're getting into the hundreds of thousands on a pretty regular basis. It's just been so impressive. There you go. Like 50,000, 300,000, hundreds of thousands, 2.4 million, 200,000, 100,000, 90,000. It's just been, and the reason this results are coming through, for the reasons I've said, every element of his creation, every element of his online work has just skyrocketed in quality, and his skill is right up there with it. That's why the skill, the dedication. I don't know if you guys even know this. I know Danny very well. I don't know if you know, we're quite close. We're good mates. The amount of time and effort he puts into this, I don't think you know. Take what you think he's doing and probably multiply it by like 10. Like, the guy is obsessive about this, about getting this work out there and making a change in the world. He's obsessive. And it pays off. It absolutely pays off. And we can show you one of his clips that he made. This is a very short clip, and I had to be careful because a lot of his clips have music in, all right? But this is one that we could look at. And I think, well, actually, we don't. This one has music too, but like, we'll not play the music because it risks it. Basically, it's like soft, dreamy music kind of thing. And as you can read this, on harvest day, I stay with my lambs, loving and honoring them till the end. So and this is like someone else's video. And then Danny responds with this. On harvest killing day, I stay with my cats, loving and honoring them until the end, until I kill them. And then so you can see like this kind of tongue-in-cheek, this kind of sarcastic stuff. He's always been sarcastic from the start, but now he's figured out a way to really take it to a level where people love it, they identify with it. And it's not just about enjoying the content, like, oh, it's fun to watch. There is a clear message in here, right? And it's in the caption, the mental gymnastics and constant coping I see from animal farmers trying to feel better about literally killing baby animals for a living just never gets old. Put this in the context of an animal we've been raised to value, and it becomes easier to understand just how wild this behavior is. And yeah, 16,000 likes, thousands of comments, hundreds of thousands of views. This is amazing. And he's getting a moral message across with an entertaining and kind of comedy aspect of a video, which is really hard to do. Like I've said, that balance is difficult. I think Danny didn't quite have the balance right in the past. He was making good videos, but I think it was predominantly a vegan audience. Somehow he's cracked it now, and now he is reaching like literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every day who are predominantly not vegan now. Like his comment section is just absolutely rammed with people who aren't vegan. So Danny has done an absolutely incredible job of making that happen. And I'm so proud of him, so happy for him to have been able to do that. It's been an incredible journey that we've all been on together. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat, Martin. And thank you also for the tip, Ethical Psytrance Project. You guys are legends. Thank you so much. We have another award, though, for our most improved vegan. This one is for a vegan who has been doing on-the-ground activism and has massively improved in 2024. I think the vegan who wins this award could just be here in the chat. Is he still here? Or has he ducked out? That's the question. He was here earlier. And if he left, he's going to be pretty gutted that he left before this point, because he wins an award. So the award for Most Improved Vegan for on-the-ground activism, as in on the ground, physically doing activism with people on the street, is that Chip guy. Chip wins. Guys, you can't see his name in the bottom corner. There you go. That Chip guy. There it is. This is Chip. His channel's That Chip Guy. If you don't know who he is yet, go and check him out. Go and chip him out. Does that work? Go and chip him out. And he has just come such a bloody long way. I remember the first time that I reacted to one of Chip's videos. I believe that I gave him some feedback that I think I said that I felt he was nervous, maybe. That he had a good cadence and he was good, but that he had a few holes, and I feel like he was a little nervous at times and worried about confront. I don't know what it was. I remember giving him some feedback and some constructive criticism. And oh my God, since then, this guy has just smashed it, just absolutely smashed it. He's out on the street now doing live, unedited, completely live activism, conversations with the public. No room for errors, no room for mistakes. Whatever he says it. It's on camera, okay? Now, trust me, as someone who also does this kind of activism, the level of pressure there is in doing something like that is phenomenal. Take the pressure of going out and talking to people in the street, full stop. Difficult, right? Now imagine that you're doing it with a camera on you. Everybody can see every bloody second of it. You can't edit it. That's the beauty of going out and recording a video, is that later on, okay, I kind of didn't say that very well. Oh, it's okay, I can just clip it out. No worries, right? No one cares. You can't do that with a live video. What's done is done. And Chip is out there. This guy who I got a little bit of nervous energy from, I believe, the first time I saw his videos. Now this guy's out there with a bloody live stream, talking to people straight up in the street, live on air, with no way of hiding any of the mistakes, with no way of, masking any mess ups or editing anything up. I'm just blown away by it. And he's absolutely smashing it as well. No nerves, completely confident. grabbing people from the public, grabbing them like that and saying, hey, do you want to do a social experiment? I mean, that's tough stuff. And then the conversations he's having are also just fantastic. We're going to watch a little bit of it now. Again, we can't watch the whole thing because we got, we're time sensitive. But let's have a little watch of one of these conversations that Chip gets into. And I'm sure you'll agree he absolutely deserves Most Improved Vegan 2024 award.
It's explained to you why the consequences of your choices could have devastating impacts on animals, and not just animals. Maybe I should have also mentioned. Maybe I should have also mentioned the fact that there's a looming pandemic just coming along, so stopping is all the more important. Hi, you wanna try it? You wanna have a? Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Hi. We also have a YouTube channel called Polly and John.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you. I'm Chip. Wait. Okay, so I take it you're Polly, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll turn this around and you tell me what you think. It says animal abuse should be legal.
Abuse should be legal? No.
Why not?
Animal abuse should be legal? Because abusing animal or humankind is not right. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they're part of our life, they're our friends, they help us, they support us.
But what if they're not friends? What if they don't help us or support us? Should we abuse them?
But why do we have to abuse some other kind?
Maybe we get some benefit from it.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, let me put it this way. If I take a dog per day, I hang them up by one foot, and then I punch them to death. It's abuse, right?
Yeah.
But I get to work out.
But there are so many alternatives.
There are so many alternatives, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
That's such a good line of questioning. He got her to say, but there are alternatives, right? And then now all he has to do is link that in with food, which she knows there are also alternatives to animal foods. There are animal-free alternatives to that, just the same way as there are animal-free alternatives to using a dog as a punching bag. It's a very extreme example, but that I imagine that's going to be quite effective.
So it's wrong to do that to cats or dogs.
Yeah.
What about cows, chickens, pigs?
Shouldn't do that as well.
Yeah. Do you think behind animal products there is some inherent abuse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you consume any animal products?
Not really. Don't eat much meat at all.
She probably does. Let's be honest. I think she knows that she's been caught in something here. People who don't want to argue with the arguments put forward, I believe this is kind of the way they go instead. They say, oh, well, I don't do too much. No, not really. Because it helps them to be able to avoid dealing with the harsh reality of what Chip has just pointed out, to be totally honest. And she's been very nice, so I'm not being too mean here, but I think she's probably fibbing a little bit.
But some?
Yeah, milk products, yes.
Yeah, and milk. Do you think you can maintain your status of being against animal abuse when at the same time you support it by buying it?
That's very difficult.
Yeah. Do you know what happens to dairy cows? Have you seen what happens to dairy cows?
Yeah.
What do you know?
There's so many videos, like how do they treat the farm animals is not what we expected.
Yeah. Yeah, so dairy cows are forcefully impregnated to have babies so that they can produce milk.
Yeah.
The procedure goes like literally somebody holds their cervix, so somebody puts their hands in their anus to hold their cervix, then they inject bull semen in their vagina, and when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
They took away the baby.
Exactly, yeah, because the milk has to go for human consumption. If the baby is born male, they don't produce milk, so what happens to them?
They kill them.
Exactly, yes. And if females, year-over-year forceful impregnation, just like their mothers, for 6 to 8 years, when farmers can no longer justify keeping them alive because it would be too difficult to impregnate them, so then they get killed, and they can live up to 25 years, so they live a third or a quarter of their life, and then they get killed, exploited and then killed. This is animal abuse, is it not? Yeah, so I understand that in the past, maybe before meeting me, before having this conversation, there was a situation, whatever that situation was. But right now, after having this conversation with me, do you think you can still maintain your status as being against animal abuse if you continue to buy animal products?
Yeah, I have to think about it.
You have to think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but while you think about it, again, if you buy animal products, you will continue to support animal abuse,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you feel you want to do?
I will buy less.
You will buy less?
Yes.
So you'll continue being animal abuser?
No, like, but yeah. I will stop.
Yeah. What is keeping you from stopping? It's not about telling me what I want to hear. I really want to understand what is your position. Like, why not stop? If you're against animal
Because
abuse
it's
and
not
you're
like
aware of it.
one day difference. It's not like I stop doing it and then tomorrow I continue doing it. It takes time for changes.
Why that?
For
Well,
anyone
why not? Why not? Because you have alternatives to everything, so you can literally just whatever it is that you're eating, you can choose an alternative until you find
I can,
that, right?
but I won't throw away all my animal products.
Oh no! But I mean,
things
not
already.
creating more demand, not
Yeah.
supporting more, not giving
Yeah.
more money, right? In
And-
that sense, I mean, right?
Agree.
Yeah. So do you know what being vegan means?
Yeah, stop animal product and stop animal food, like animal-made food as well.
So being vegan just means that we're against the exploitation, abuse, and slaughter of animals.
Yep.
As a consequence, of course, we don't eat them. We don't wear their skin. We don't use them as entertainment, whatever
Yeah.
it is, right? We recognize that they're individuals.
What channel are you on?
My channel is called That Chip Guy.
Because it's a very sensitive topic, and I think I don't want to be like on public
Interesting.
for such a long time.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
What's the name of it?
Let me type it.
She was very happy to go on the stream at first, huh? Interesting how that works.
You can say hi, honey, because you're live.
Wait, maybe if you do live, you see. Yeah, that's I'm live right now. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you for having this conversation with me. Keep in mind that I only speak on the behalf of animals. If you're frustrated or anything, don't take it out
Are
on the
you
animals.
fully vegan?
Yes, I am.
Since when?
3 years fully vegan, and I was vegetarian for 7 before that. But when I found out what happens to dairy cows, I just couldn't justify it. I couldn't say.
How long does it take you from like vegetarian to vegan?
So for me, it was overnight. I just decided from that moment on, I never buy animal products. As you said, I still had some animal products in the fridge. I didn't throw them away. I just took advantage of the time I had, and I bought absolutely all the plant-based products that I could find in the supermarket,
Yeah.
and I tried finding the best alternatives.
What about like for family gathering, and then like for work? What will you do?
They know that I'm vegan, they have to respect it. That's it. And if they don't respect it, they don't respect me, right? It's as easy as that. And not only that, with my family, I don't sit down with them if they're also going to consume animal products, because I find it disgusting for somebody
so
to eat.
animal before family? Is that what you meant? Or-
No. I mean, I still meet my family. I still discuss with
Yeah,
them. I
yeah.
just won't sit down at the same eating table with them if
Yeah.
they're consuming animal products, because it's
So
disrespectful.
is your family all vegan then?
No, they're not. No. So I haven't
So
eaten
you-
with
so
my
you
family in a
haven't-
while. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
But I
what
have to
it is.
think about it.
Actually, I have eaten with my friends and with my family when we went to vegan restaurants, because they have to eat vegan foods. But just keep in mind that while you're thinking, again, animals will still get exploited for you. Let me give you a flyer, and I hope you change your mind, because you have choices, they don't, and they deserve body autonomy just as much as you do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
Interesting. Very bold and very direct activism, and definitely, like a huge, in terms of, like I said, in terms of getting out there, doing it live, it's insane that he does this live. I guess I'll give you a quick analysis. It's not, I can't not give the analysis. Most Improved Vegan Award 2024 for on-the-ground activism definitely goes to Chip. My analysis of this and why she got so defensive and upset was that he called her an animal abuser. It's probably not wise to pretty much ever call somebody an animal abuser when you have engaged in a conversation with them on the guise of it's a social experiment and kind of friendly, and then suddenly switching it on, oh, you're an animal abuser then. Probably not the smartest thing to do, to be honest with you. Probably not the smartest thing to do. But yeah, I mean, Chip's got his strategies. He's got his own views on this and his reason for doing it, I suppose. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we can have a chat or something. Maybe Chip can come on the channel at some point. We can have a little chat and break down why he feels that's the best way to do these kinds of things. But in terms of analyzing it, that's probably why she got defensive and wanted to step away. Because, to go from one to the other is probably a bit of a shocker. But it was going really well up until that point. I personally would have put more emphasis on the alternatives discussion. Like, oh, you wouldn't do that boxing thing. We find an alternative. Oh, I'm really glad you said that. Then we connect that with the animals. I think that was a missed opportunity. But still, I'm still super, and this is one conversation out of I don't even know how many. So yeah, that Chip's been doing, and I've been checking out the live streams, and he's been absolutely smashing it. And he did really well here as well. Chip absolutely deserves the award for Most Improved Vegan 2024. Well done, Chip. Love it. All right. The next award is a funny one. Grumpiest Goose Award. You might have already been able to tell this is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek award. The Grumpiest Goose Award goes to a vegan who has just not really stopped whining about other vegans and getting stroppy with other vegans over 2024. And also probably beyond, but we're talking about 2024. Now, this isn't really like too much of a dig. It's more like a playful dig. It's more like it's just a bit silly. I don't particularly hate anyone. I don't particularly have grudges necessarily these days. I feel like it's a bit immature and a bit silly to hate on or have grudges against people or whatever. So just don't take it as that. This is genuinely playful and a bit silly. But it's for the grumpiest goose. It's for the grumpiest goose. And I think that although this individual has been a little more quiet over 2024, a little more quiet than usual, they've still been a bloody grumpy goose. And by far the grumpiest goose of 2024, without question. And so the Grumpiest Goose Award for 2024 goes to, who else could it have gone to? The one and only, the Cranky Vegan. It's in the name. What can you say? You could call him the grumpiest goose. That's what the name should be. If you're not aware of the Cranky Vegan, go check him out. I mean, I'm not necessarily, I've not got anything against the guy necessarily. He's done some amazing work in the past. He's done some amazing work in the present, raises money for animal sanctuaries. He's got some interesting opinions on the movement and the direction it's going. But he's a grumpy goose. He is the grumpiest goose of 2024. He's, in general, always been a grumpy goose for as long as I've known him. And if you want to see why, we're not going to watch his stuff because it is grumpy goosey stuff. And we're not here for grumpy goosey stuff. If you want to see some of his grumpy goosey behavior, you can head over and have a little look at his grumpy goosey behavior. You won't have to look far. So well done, Cranky Vegan. Well done, Jake. You are the grumpiest goose of 2024. All right. Next up, we've got the best vegan celebrity. Always a bit of a controversial one because there aren't bloody many vegan celebrities, are there? The best vegan celebrity. So we have to look far and wide to find ourselves a best vegan celebrity. But in this case, it wasn't too hard to find the best vegan celebrity of 2024. Last year, the best vegan celebrity 2023 was Ricky Gervais. And for obvious reasons, the guy raised a ton of money for animal charities, talked about animals and animal rights in his comedy that reached millions and millions of people. And so this year's vegan celebrity of the year, best vegan celebrity of 2024, had to match that. Like, okay, what vegan celebrity is doing as much as Ricky Gervais is doing? Raising money for animal charities, raising money for animal rights groups, making animal rights messaging as much as they can in their work and all these things, and not just a passive vegan, right? So we had a chat about it, and it was actually Annie's idea for this one that I didn't bloody consider. I don't know why. Escaped my mind. Annie spotted this. She's a big fan of him. And this year's Best Vegan Celebrity of 2024 goes to Moby. Moby, because obviously Moby's been doing a lot of great work for animals over the decades and decades and decades that he's been involved in animal rights and the movement and incorporating it into his performances and his shows. But in 2024, he did a tour and he donated all the profits between various animal rights and climate organizations. So it's absolutely fantastic that he's divvying out the money to animal rights organizations from his tours. And if you didn't know this, when Moby does shows, he plays slaughter footage and various like animal rights footage on a massive, I think it's a projector or a massive screen behind him. So people are forced to look at it. I believe he also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he makes sure that the venues are serving up vegan food as well. So, you know, overall, just incredible. I mean, a vegan celebrity who's raising money for the animals, who puts the animals at the forefront of the vast majority of his work. That's all you can ask for in a celebrity, isn't it? It's all you can ask for. Raising money, using their influence for good, using their power for good at every given opportunity. Ricky Gervais is in that boat. He's doing great work. He's done so much amazing work for animals. Moby's in that boat. And in future years, we'll just have to see if anyone else falls into that boat. But so far, there's not many contenders. There aren't many contenders, gotta say. Moby, fantastic though. Best Vegan Celebrity 2024. Thank you, Moby. Keep up the incredible work. Definitely a certified legend. Alrighty then. Next up, we have 2 more vegan awards to give out, okay? No, 3 more vegan. We have 3 more vegan awards to give out. Chris Hines is saying in the chat, Moby considers himself more of an animal activist than a musician these days. There you go. There you go. All right, then, next up, we have our Unsung Hero Award. Unsung Hero. So this is a new award this year. And the reason that we're doing this one is because there are certain people who work in our movement and they work in the darkness, guys, okay? Now, over the past couple of years, I have had a lot of exposure to these people that work in the darkness. I've been working a lot with people that work in the darker areas of this movement, and it's not been public. You don't know about it, and I've not spoken about it on the channel for reasons that will become apparent as we move forward in the next couple of years. Once I reveal everything, I think you'll be pretty surprised as to how we did what we did without ever talking about it on the channel, without ever showing the effects of it on us, and without ever getting into it on the channel, because a lot of stuff's been going on, guys, offline, off YouTube, off social media, and this dark space within the vegan animal rights world mostly is offline. It's mostly behind the scenes. It's mostly these people, you'll never see them. You'll never meet them. You'll never know their names. And you'll never see their faces. If you do see them, you're unlikely to see their face. Because these people operate in areas that I'm sure that hardly any of you, if any of you, have ever operated in, okay? So it's important that we acknowledge them. And this is where the Unsung Hero Award comes in. And it's a shame because I can't actually give this award properly to the individual who deserves this. I can only give it to their pseudonym, to the name they use on their social media. But I do, you know, I wish there was a way that we could properly give these people the accolades they deserve. But part of the job is that they literally can't do it, because then they can't do their job. So, with all that being said, and this is a very serious award, and I want you to all please go and follow and give some support and love to this individual. The Unsung Hero Award for the Rammys 2024 is going to go to my friend over at Human Cruelties. Now, you may not know of human cruelties. I won't say the person's name, obviously, for obvious reasons, can't do it. But Human Cruelties is an undercover investigator that does all sorts of undercover investigations, from posing as different characters and different identities to get into places, entering places in the middle of the night, entering places in the middle of the day. This individual has formed friendships, formed strong friendships and relationships with people within the animal agriculture industry to enable them to get inside these places and take these pictures and take these videos that they do. This is, as I said, these are the darkest. This is one of the darkest things, if not the darkest thing you can do within our movement. It can be very lonely, isolating. It can completely destroy your mental health. It does destroy your mental health. Nobody truly understands what it's like to do this. Even the people that are also doing it don't still completely understand, because each individual that does this work has a different reaction to it. Okay, so everybody has different feelings and emotions when they do this. Everyone deals with this differently. And so there truly is nobody else that fully understands how you feel when you do this. It is so isolating. It is so soul-destroying. And so it's really important that we support people like this person. I was going to switch the stream off there, but I think it's better to push through it. So please go over there and get over to Human Cruelties and follow this person and message them and leave comments and support financially. There's a Go Get Funding link there, so please go and do that. And also, bear in mind that this aspect of what this person does that you're seeing on this channel is only one element of what they do. There's a lot more that they do as well, a lot more investigation work, but also a lot of work for animals that are outside of investigation work that also require a lot of funding. So please get over there and support this individual and help people like them to keep on doing this kind of work. Thank you. And that's the Unsung Hero Award for 2024. It goes to Human Cruelties. Okay, we have 2 more vegan awards to go for before we give our Meat Down of the Year 2024 award that you all voted on. And so, the next 2 that we have Outstanding Vegan Legend and we have the Hall of Fame Award. So the Outstanding Vegan Legend Award, what is this? So this is an award that we are giving to someone who has put a standout performance in for the year of 2024. We're talking that it's just a legendary performance, just something that is just so absolutely fantastic that it absolutely just needs to be identified and acknowledged as, wow, outstanding vegan legend. Just something just mind-blowing, just incredible for 2024, something huge. And I think you're all going to agree with me on this one, that this individual and this team deserves this. The award for the Outstanding Vegan Legend goes to Rose and the Animal Rising team. I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but if you're not aware of this, this is Rose. And Rose is the co-founder of Animal Rising. And she is also the head of their, I can't remember what she called it. I saw it somewhere in LinkedIn, but she's like a head of operations, basically, of the campaigns as well. And over 2024, well, over a longer period, but in 2024, they launched this massive investigation on the RSPCA, an incredible investigation against the RSPCA over in the UK. The RSPCA, by the way, that's the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They're supposed to be the people that look out for animals, supposed to be the people that ensure that animals are safe, including wildlife and pet animals, but also they get involved with farmed animals. And they're supposed to be the ones ensuring high welfare. Over 2024, Animal Rising released a massive expose that completely exposed all the lies and the corruption that they have been, how they've been operating. So we're going to watch some of this video now. We might not watch all of it, but just to give you a flavor of what Animal Rising did and why they win this award and why Rose and Animal Rising win this award for Outstanding Vegan Legends for 2024.
We are undertaking the largest investigation into the RSPCA in history, with over 40 farms, over 50 investigators, hundreds of hours of footage, and an official published report. By the end of this video, you will see how the world's oldest and largest animal welfare organisation is covering up cruelty on an industrial scale, and how we take matters into our own hands and save an animal from certain death. If, like me, you grew up trusting the RSPCA, this is a video you don't want to miss. So we're just on our way to a laying hen farm. It has around 64,000 hens in this one massive shed. The most trusted animal charity in the UK is putting their stamp of approval on these farms. If there is an emergency, say red, and then we know that we need to get out of there. Getting a biosuit on, it's just to protect ourselves from spreading any kind of disease. This is so far removed from what the RSPCA show people. Not what you see in their adverts. The RSPCA Assured Scheme is supposed to be the gold standard of British farming, and if this is the best, then I dread to see what the worst is. We just came across this chicken who doesn't seem to be able to raise her head normally or straighten her neck. It just looks like so uncomfortable.
Okay, and so we're not going to watch the rest of this video. As I said, we are trying to keep an eye on time, and also it is a very dark video and it exposes a lot of horrors. But there is a very nice story at the end of it. They do rescue a pig, and which is absolutely fantastic, and they get him to a sanctuary, and so that's absolutely wonderful. But guys, if you haven't seen this video yet, please do go over to Animal Rising and watch the rest of this video, or save it for later. But the work they've done here, over 40 farms investigated, and they absolutely exposed the hell out of the RSPCA, because these are RSPCA approved farms. And not only that, Rose and the team have been constantly smashing them with pressure campaigns, activism over 2024, and they're not going to stop. This is truly, the work they've been doing this year is just absolutely outstanding, gold standard. I've been so impressed with them, so impressed with everything that I've heard from them and all the talks that Rose has been giving. Just really inspirational, really impressive. And so I highly recommend you get over there, watch that, subscribe to Animal Rising, follow Animal Rising, and I'll pull up Rose's page as well here for you. So you can go and check her out as well and show some love. There you go, Rose__Patterson as well. I'll pop it in the chat. So, go follow, this is the thing, guys. I mean, the number one thing you can do to help activists and help groups like Rose and Animal Rising and myself as well and human cruelties and everybody else we've seen today, the number one thing you can do, if you're able to, is to support financially. I mean, there's not much that's going to be more powerful than you being able to support financially. That's how everything stays and keeps going. That's how everybody can afford to keep doing this work. Okay, so that's the first thing. But after that, there's still some incredible ways that you can keep on helping. DMs, drop a DM. Hey, I love your work. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. Very important. Just so it takes nothing. It takes a second. But if everyone's doing that a lot, it makes a massive difference. Posts, sharing posts, liking posts, commenting on posts, videos, watching the video from minute 0 to the final second. Don't click away from a video. If you're going to watch it until it's finished, right? So, I mean, if it's too harmful for you, if you're finding it difficult to watch, leave the video playing, but don't watch it then. You can do that. That's a trick you could do. You just leave it playing. Because when you leave videos to play, or when you watch a video from minute 0 all the way till the last second, if every single vegan is doing that, everyone, all of us are doing that for as many activists as we can, the impact of that would be phenomenal. Because then YouTube, Instagram, all the platforms, they see, wow, look at this video. People are watching it all the way through. It must be a good video. And then they recommend it to other people. And it keeps on getting recommended until eventually people don't watch it as much. That's how the algorithms work. So number one you can do to help activists and help groups financially, obviously. Number 2, moral support, giving them messages of support, dropping them DMs, leaving comments of moral support. Number 3, liking, sharing, all that stuff, all important. But number 3, watch from minute 0 to the final minute of whatever the hell you're watching by a vegan. You have to do it. And then engage. Comments, shares, likes, everything. Just do all of it to as many vegan videos as you can. This is what makes everything tick. This is what gets everything further out there. When you don't do that, I mean, that's when we start to see problems. That's when videos don't take off when they could take off. It's all connected. We have to be able to do that for our own people, for our side. It helps us get more success, which helps more animals. That's how it all works, guys. So keep that in mind. Thank you. And well done to Rose and the Animal Rising team for smashing it this year. And I'm so excited to see what you guys are going to do in 2025. All right, then. Finally, the last vegan award before I reveal to you who our meat down of the year 2024 is. The Hall of Fame award, guys. The Hall of Fame award. So this is the ultimate honor. This is the highest decree, the highest honor you could ever get in the Rammys. All right? And I mean, with such a prestigious award ceremony as this is, getting the most prestigious award in the most prestigious award ceremony out there for vegans, I mean, bloody hell. This doesn't get any better than this. All right? This is just platinum. This is the cream of the crop. All right? This is the I was going to go through some more examples, but you know what? I think I'm a little fried after 3.5 hours. Nothing's come into me. It's just the best, all right? It's the number 1, okay? It's the Terminator 2 of sci-fi. The Terminator 2 of vegan awards. There you go. That's what it is, all right? The Matrix of vegan awards. I know Calvin will love that one. Big Matrix fan, all right? They're 2 of my favorite movies, so maybe... The Spider-Man of vegan awards. Okay, it's just up there. It's just the best. That's all I'm saying. It's the best, all right? The Hall of Famer. Last year, Wayne Chung won it. Wayne won it because he has done incredible work. He co-founded, I believe, or founded DXE. He's been in prison multiple times, been arrested multiple times. He has been faced with really long prison sentences for his work for animals. He's non-stop. The guy's an absolute machine. Big love for Wayne Chung. Go and check out his podcast if you haven't already. Love Wayne Chung. So that's the kind of level we're talking about for the Hall of Fame award. It truly is just the best award we could ever give. Now, this year's Hall of Famer is no less deserving. This year's Hall of Famer is just absolutely phenomenal in what they've done. This year's Hall of Famer almost just got sent to Japan to be tried for very, very severe crimes. This Hall of Famer is on what's known as, I believe, a red list, meaning that he's seen as in some countries as like an international threat. Okay, and Japan wanted to lock him up, probably for life. Who knows what else? He was recently imprisoned in Denmark for a very long time while they decided whether they wanted to ship him off to Japan to let them have him. Can you believe it? This person has been out there defending the seas, saving animals, saving lives, probably longer than any of us have been alive. Which absolutely blows. It's been 50 years this guy has been out there fighting for animals. Unbelievable. This year, 2024's Hall of Fame award goes to, of course, Captain Watson, Captain Paul Watson. Founder of Sea Shepherd, founder of the Captain Paul Watson Foundation. If you don't know who this man is, you are missing out. This guy is the real deal. I've had him on the channel. For an interview. Go and check that out about a year or so ago. He is just, what can I even say at this point? The guy has done some just incredible work over 50 years or 60 years at this point? I think it's 50 years. Insane. He has risked his life on multiple occasions. He's just literally got out of jail because of the work he's been doing, because he goes out there and literally fights for animals and stops illegal fishing, illegal whaling. He's put his body on the line multiple times. And we're going to look at a couple of examples of this. So we have a video here from 1977 when Paul was with Greenpeace. And they went out and they physically stopped people from killing baby seals. Physically got in the way. Look at this.
Well, the first expedition that I took to the ice was in 1975, and it was our intention at that time to spray the seals with an indelible organic dye that would destroy the commercial value of the pelt without hurting the seal. 5 days before we arrived there to do this, that was declared an illegal tactic by the authorities, and we were prevented from doing it, even though we had gotten the idea from fishery scientists who had been doing it for 20 years. But what we had to do was to go to the ice and interfere as best we could. We did block the sealing ships in the ice. On one occasion when we did that, the sealing ship Arctic Endeavor kept coming at us and, in fact, broke the ice up underneath of our feet. We obstructed the sealers with our own bodies and physically protected as many seals as we could. In an attempt to stop one of the ships, I had handcuffed myself to a winch line so that the ship wouldn't proceed and would be slowed down and wouldn't be able to get its quota. What happened there was that the sealers decided that they were going to deal with me, and they gave the order to pull the winch line in. I was dragged across the ice, through the water, up the side of the ship, and dropped 3 times back into the water. I spent about 10 minutes in the water altogether, and I was losing all sensation in my hands and feet. It was frozen salt water. It was sort of a slush that I was in, and this was about 180 miles out at sea.
Take him directly to the sick bay.
I think that it's absolutely deplorable that the Canadian taxpayers are funding a blood sport like the seal hunt. For instance, there's no market for the pelts. There's warehouses in the Magdalen Islands and in Newfoundland that have pelts that were taken 3-4 years ago, and there's just no market for it. There's no question that the seal hunt is inhumane. I've seen seals that have been skinned before they've been clubbed. I've seen mother seals remain with the carcasses of their pups for up to 3 days without abandoning them, trying to nurse the carcasses. People are becoming educated that to buy a sealskin coat is to invest in misery. It's to invest in the extinction of a species. In 1979, we took the Sea Shepherd on her first expedition through the Cabot Straits and through 200 miles of ice floes to the scene of the seal hunt, crashing through the ice without the assistance of icebreakers, which the sealing ships do have. The sealers said that we could never make it there without icebreakers, but we did make it there, and we succeeded in reaching over 1,000 seals, applying a dye to their coats, making them commercially valueless, and in fact save those 1,000 seals in that manner. But we were arrested and charged under the Seal Protection Act for dyeing seals, for being on the ice without permission of the minister, and a few other accounts. They stalled on trying us until February of 1980. And then at which time we were fined a total of, the Fund for Animals was fined a total of $20,000 for the 8 crew members that were arrested. And with myself, I was sentenced to a 2-week jail term, which begins on March 3rd, which is at the time of the seal hunt. So it was their intention to put me in jail to prevent me from going to the seal hunt. So all we can do is hopefully that next year we'll be able to get out there and once again obstruct the hunt.
And they did. And he went on and on and on. I mean, this is in the 70s. He never stopped, literally never stopped. Whether it be the seal hunt, which they, I believe, went back and tried to protest that multiple times and get in the way. Whether it be people going out whaling, the Sea Shepherd boats have been going and obstructing the whalers, the people killing whales, illegal fishing. They've literally, allegedly, Paul and his team have managed to get onto boats and destroy their equipment inside the boats, so the boats couldn't leave in the morning to go and do some of these horrible things to animals, allegedly, to be clear, allegedly. And there's just been so much more that him and his team have done, and since this time. And what can we say? This is before most of us were born. I mean, it's before I was born, and he's still going today. Can you believe it? And he's an old man now, and they still try to throw him in jail for the incredible work that he's been doing over all of these decades. Try to throw him in jail for it. Even today, they're trying to get him for it. For what? For defending animals? For doing what governments should be doing? That's basically all that he's ever been setting out to do, especially when it comes to the illegal fishing and the illegal whaling operations. He and his team have had to act as the law and enforce the law because nobody else will. If nobody was doing it, if he didn't do it, then nobody was doing it. And those animals were being not just massacred, but illegally massacred, which obviously the law doesn't mean anything, right? Massacre is a massacre, whether it's legal or not, we're against it. But if it's illegal, the government should be enforcing those laws. These animals shouldn't have to die. No animal should have to die in that way, to be clear, but especially not when the government has decided that it is not allowed. And so all I can say to Paul and Paul's team, by the way, and they're still continuing to do all of this amazing work. It's not stopping, even though he was briefly incarcerated. He's not incarcerated now. He's back out again. And then I don't know how many more years Paul's got left in him, but let me tell you now, he's earned his place in the Hall of Fame. Just an absolutely all-around fantastic activist. And, I hope we see more out of him before he calls it a day because, as I said, he's an old man who's been at this since the bloody 70s. I'm excited to see what he's got in him, but I think it might be at some point time for him to pass on the task to us, basically. I mean, I've not got my sea legs. I don't think I'll be out there. What was that? Something fall? I don't know. I won't be out there probably doing the sea-based activism, but I hope somebody with his tenacity and dedication takes over and goes for as many decades as he did. I truly do, because when he retires, when he does his last trip, when he gets out there and does his last piece of activism, there'll be a huge hole left in that world of activism in the protecting the sea life, side of things. And I just really hope someone takes up that mantle. But for now, we celebrate Captain Paul Watson with the Hall of Fame Award for 2024. Congratulations, Captain. You absolutely deserve it. And just what an incredible person, incredible work. Thank you for everything you've done so far and everything that you will do as well. We're all watching. We're all following. Amazing stuff. Inspirational guy. Okay. Now, a couple of honorable mentions before we reveal your voting choice for Meatdown of the Year 2024. We can't give awards to everybody, like I said. And there were awards that we gave out last year. There were awards we gave out the year before. I don't like to repeat. So there, of course, people did really well in 2024, but I don't like to repeat. But anyway, some honorable mentions for this year go out to Sky over at Morning Sky, Skyjack Morgan. Cliff Grant, of course, Cliff. How can we forget Cliff? Cliff knows he's top dog. He knows he's the alpha. We've got Ellie over at Vegan Gaze. Obviously, Ellie, big fan of Ellie, good friend, as well as Cliff. Elwood's Dog Meat did some pretty cool stuff back in 2024. Very cool. Speciesism.wtf did some really cool stuff with Jamie Logan as well. Both Jamie Logan and Speciesism.wtf, smashing it. Good stuff. Logical Consistency, Brandon, does some good stuff as well. Enjoy his work. Matthew Glover and Veganuary and VFC and all those guys, good work, obviously smashing it. And of course, we all know Joey Carb, Strong and Earthling Ed. Obviously. But the thing is with Joey and Ed, these guys, awards to them, it's not a big deal. They get a lot of attention and a lot of support. They are the two most supported activists in the movement. No shadow of a doubt. So I try not to focus on those guys and instead give awards to those who are, well, all these awards, apart from probably Captain Watson, are unsung heroes at the end of the day, let's be honest. And so I try to lean more towards that side of things. A big, huge thank you to everybody who I've just mentioned, though. All the honorable mentions, all fantastic, doing great work. And who knows, maybe in the coming years, we'll dish some more awards out to you guys too. All right, then. It looks like it's about that time, maybe. Is it about that time? Are we going to reveal it? Who's ready for the big reveal? For the results of Meatdown of the Year 2024. Who's ready for the big reveal? Give me any emoji you want. No broccoli, just whatever you want in the chat. If you're ready for the big reveal for who we have voted for to be the Meatdown of the Year 2024. Who had the most deserving Meatdown of the Year 2024. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We need to go and calculate this and count these votes. So I'm going to tell you guys, and I have to ask you for your patience to hold on tight as I go and confer with my assistant, my glamorous assistant, to find out what is the result. Okay, and we're back. And I believe we have the results that are being... Oh, the glamorous assistant is handing me a shiny envelope. All right. Oh, look at this. It's very fancy. We have the Meatdown of the Year. Oof, it's all going off now. 2024, Meatdown of the Year. All right, then. Let's open her up. What have we got here? Okay. Oof. I'm surprised. Wow. You guys have surprised me with this one. No, I can't believe it. Okay, let's do this. All right. In third place for Meatdown of the Year 2024. In third place, I can't believe this third place. Sausage Man. You guys voted Sausage Man for third place. I thought Sausage Man was going to take it. Shocker. Okay. So Sausage Man didn't win it. In second place, by quite a big margin, by the way. Big difference between second and third place. We have What Would Jesus Do? Meaning the Reverend who almost cried when his own book was read back to him. That's second place. In first place, with a difference of only 2 votes, 2 votes separate second from first place. I think you guys already know it. Drum roll. In first place, winning, biggest meat down of the year, 2024, voted by you, the people, is the Call of Duty enthusiast. The winner of the Meat Flake of the Year 2024 is the man who pulled a gun on animal rights activists during a foie gras protest. And what can I say, guys? I think that was the right choice. What can we say? Pulling a gun on activists who were talking about foie gras at a hotel that serves foie gras is literally epic levels of meat down. That is just, it goes beyond, it transcends a simple, oh, I love bacon. It transcends a bloody, sausage expert arguing with Earthling Ed. It's so much more than a hunter almost crying when his own book is read out to him. We're talking here actual potential bodily harm, real world violence, pulling out a firearm, potentially loaded, in a room full of innocent people because your fifis got hurt, because activists are speaking against force-feeding geese so that their bodies can be sold at a really, really high price to rich douchebags. You pulled a gun on activists for having a problem with that. Oh, you deserve Meat Down of the Year 2024, don't you? Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. You voted correctly, my friends. You voted very correctly. I'm proud of you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Whew. Shall we watch it again? I think we should probably watch it again, shouldn't we? Just to, acknowledge the moment. So here he is. Here's our best buddy, best pal. Let's bring him up again. Let's skip to the moment. Here he is, our Meat Down of the Year 2024. He's on his way. Here he is. Here he is, and there's the gun, and oh my goodness. Pushing the gun in the throat of an activist because they are protesting against foie gras. Bloody hell. 2024 was a wild one, guys. What a year. What a year. Who knew that this is how we take... Who knew this is how we go into 2025? Who could have expected that? I mean, bloody hell. Absolutely wild. Very well deserved. I hope this guy turns his life around. It's a bit late in the day for him, isn't it? I mean, he spent his whole Christmas in jail. Maybe that'll help him, reevaluate his life choices and not do that again. You would hope. Hopefully has some kind of ban on carrying a gun. That would be nice, wouldn't it? You've clearly misused your right to carry a gun. Therefore, you don't have the right to carry a gun anymore. Would probably be a sensible punishment for him. Hopefully get some kind of fine. I don't know if he got charged or not. I don't know. Natalie could probably provide some information on that, although I think she sodded off earlier on before getting her award. Bloody hell, Natalie. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he gets charged. Hey, thank you, JP and Julia, for the tip. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. They say, love the Rammys, love the Rams. Thanks so much. But yeah, this guy spent Christmas in jail. Well deserved. And hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully he has a revelation and realizes, wow, that was dumb. And I'm not going to do that again, ever again. Because remember, guys, these meat downs, these anti-vegan meltdowns, that's not all the person is. I mean, this guy, let's try something here. This guy might be a nice guy. Maybe this guy's he's probably got a family. He's probably got kids. He's probably not an evil person. But in this case, he just had a complete anti-vegan meltdown. And even the smartest people out there act in the dumbest of ways when it comes to animal rights and veganism, and especially when they're arguing with vegans. So is there a chance that this guy could have a turnaround and never do that ever again? And is there a chance he could, be the most improved meat down, the most improved meat down? I mean, hey, could be. Who knows? Everybody can change. This is the important thing. And that's why we changed it from meat flake to meat down. Because meat flake attacks the person, calling them a meat flake, calling them a snowflake. Oh, look at you. You're a this, you're a that. Meat down focuses on their behavior. His behavior was absolutely disgusting, but it doesn't mean that he will always be or has to always be a disgusting person. He acted like one in this instance, but he could change. And that's the thing. Everybody could change. You all changed. How many of you guys were meat eaters? How many of you guys were dairy guzzlers and egg munchers? How many of you were hunters? We have a hunter in the chat, or an ex-hunter in the chat called Hunter. He used to literally shoot animals in the head, kill them, and he did it for fun. Now he's an animal rights activist and a vegan. So all this guy did was pull out a gun. Hunter literally shot guns at animals, and now he defends them as a vegan and an animal rights activist. Everybody can change. This guy could change. Late in the day, but we have to believe, and we have never lose hope in people's capacity to change for the better. The second we lose hope in that, we lose everything. We're going to make no difference for animals if we lose hope in people's capacity for change. If none of us ever believed that, for example, Hunter could change, the Hunter I was just referring to called Hunter, if everyone believed he would never change, nobody would have ever tried to convince him. Nobody would have ever made the content, made the videos, made the points that would convince somebody like him. And guess what? He never would have changed. It's a vicious circle, guys. Nobody changes unless we believe they can change. But when they don't change, it makes us not believe that change can happen. So it's this dangerous spiral that we get ourselves into. But we have to keep hoping, because it's hope that actually will make the change at the end of the day. It'll keep us going. It'll keep us speaking up. It'll keep us fighting and getting this information out there and believing in it. And it all feeds into itself, because that is ultimately the only thing that can actually change the world, isn't it? I got deep all of a sudden. I'm aware of that. But I believe that, I believe in that. So this guy got what he deserved. He got jailed. He did his time. Who knows what happens next? We have to believe that even somebody like him can change. We'll conclude today's awards ceremony with some statistics for you about the year that we've had here on YouTube. So, and also kind of your support for me as well, and how that's been. And so here's what's happened through 2024. 75 of you are paying Patreon members, my Patreon team. Thank you so much. 75 of you. That is amazing. 75 of you support my work on Patreon financially. Thank you so much. I can't even put into words how much that means to me. You guys are absolute legends. Amazing. 100 of you joined up as free members. If you didn't know that exists, it exists. You can join my Patreon for free. Patreon.com/David Rams. Join up as a free member, maybe upgrade to a paid member if there's something you see that you like, or if you decide, hey, I like his stuff so much that I want to help him do more of it. Amazing. Thank you for that. And come and join as a free member. YouTube members, 68 of you joined my YouTube memberships team as paying YouTube members. Again, incredible. 68 of you. That's absolutely amazing. These numbers are insane. I never would have imagined that so many people would support me like this. It genuinely means a hell of a lot to me, so thank you. Okay, now videos over the year. We posted 141 videos in total. That includes like normal videos, shorts, and live streams. 141. Comes down to about 11 videos a month when you break it down on a monthly basis, which, considering it's just me, and occasionally Annie helps with some support, but basically most of the time, in terms of the video creation and stuff, it's just me. That's pretty wild. 11 videos a month. It doesn't feel like I've been doing 11 videos a month, but clearly that's what's been happening because that's how many videos I posted in 2024, which is just wild to me. And that's only looking at YouTube. We also have across Instagram, Twitter, and all the different posts I've been doing across all the different platforms, which I should have probably prepared for this, but considering we're on YouTube, we'll keep it to YouTube. And views, video views. So just on YouTube for the 2024, we pulled in 2,036,500 video views on YouTube. Not bad. Not bad for a year, I guess. 2,036,500. That's a pretty crazy number. I got to admit, I find that to be pretty wild. I know there are creators out there like outside of our niche that do that in a month or even in a week. But to me, speaking about what I speak about and what we do on this channel, 2 million video views in a year is I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's pretty cool. And this doesn't include Instagram. It doesn't include Twitter, which we've got on Facebook as well, which have also had some pretty nice results over there as well. I mean, all of that included, if I include Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we're probably looking at around maybe probably like 2,200,000, something like that, I would say. 2,200,000 video views across the platforms. And probably videos posted, I guess you could, there's a lot of overlap, some of the same videos and stuff. But probably like 200 videos, maybe something like that. So we've been busy, and it's all thanks to you guys. I mean, 2 million plus views, well over 100 videos, 140 videos. I gave you how many people are in the Patreon team and how many people are in the YouTube members team first to make you realize that the only way that I can even make all those videos and pull in all these views and get all of this information there's valuable information and trying to convince people to do good for animals and change for animals, that is all massively in part thanks to your support. All you 75 people who are joined my Patreon at a financially supporting me on Patreon, all you 68 people who do the same thing on YouTube memberships team, you are part of the team that enabled us to get over 2 million video views with strong pro-animal and vegan messaging out there. You are part of the team that produced 141 videos over a 12-month period. I hope you realize that. I said just earlier, it's just me. Yeah, I do the editing and I make the thumbnails and that's all just me, fine. But in terms of, like, I can't do all of that if I can't sustain it. We live in the world. We have to sustain ourselves. And so you are part of that team. Annie's part of that team. Annie does lots of stuff outside of video editing, outside of the content creation stuff that enables me to sit here and spend so many hours making the content. You guys are in that same boat. You guys are in that same network of support that enables this to continue and enables us to get out there and rack up, get in potentially millions of people to see this stuff. And I'm not stopping, guys. I'm still working really hard right now on cracking the code of specifically how to get to people who aren't vegan. And I think I've cracked it. Especially on Instagram. My last Instagram reel didn't do so good on the views side of things. I only got 15,000 views. The comments, 400 comments. And that is majority, they are not vegans. The majority of them are not vegans. So that tells me the majority of people seeing that reel are not vegan. And that is exactly what we need. It's not great for video performance because people who aren't vegan probably not going to like, comment, share, or anything on a video that's pro-vegan, right? However, it's those people we need to reach. So that's fantastic. And to make these videos perform even better and go even further and reach more people, that's where you come in, like we already said. Liking, sharing, commenting, and all those things, watching the video from start to finish, all those things enable us to get to even more people so that next year, it won't be 2 million video views we're talking about. It could be 10 million. It could be 20 million. But you're part of that. You're part of the team that's making this possible. And you do it when you financially support, and you also do it when you do all those things that I've said. And I'm going to repeat it one more time. Like, comment, share, start to finish. Watch the video start to finish. Something like this that's 4 hours, understandable, not really a video that's going to get out to people who aren't vegan. Fine. shorter videos that I make, that I post up, like the 10, 15 minute, 20 minute videos, Instagram reels, shorts, Twitter videos, all these things. Those are the ones that need to be, if you want to help them get out there, start to finish, watched, if not watched twice or 3 times, if you're really going to help. You could leave them to play with audio off if you want. I'm giving you secrets here. YouTube might be not so happy with this, but whatever. And like, comment, share, engage with proper comments. Not just emojis, but like, hey, I really liked this video. Here's what I liked about it. Things like that. So that's it, guys. And help us make this 2 million, 200 million. So that the next Rammys Awards, we say, hey guys, wow, holy crap, we did it. Can you believe it? We did this. Last year we said we did this much. The Rammys 2025, we're like, whoa, wow, we stepped it up. We made it happen this year. We reached so many people and did so many incredible things. And thank you, Leon Kusha, who's just become a member, YouTube member, legend. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, this has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed doing this with you. As I said, I love these community streams where we get together and smash it out like this. If you enjoyed this video, send it to your vegan friends and people that you think would enjoy it too. I think, it's an interesting lineup of things that we've looked into today and some nice awards. And I think there's some interesting information for people in there. So for sure, share it to anybody who enjoys watching 4-hour videos. Engage with the video, like, comment, share, all that good stuff as usual. And let's have a great 2025, guys. Look forward to a video that I've got coming out. That's going to be a video titled, Is Veganism Dead in 2025? Bit of a clickbaity video title, but I think you're going to enjoy it. So get ready for that. That might be my first video 2025. I got some outreach stuff I want to post as well. But yeah, guys, that was the Rammys 2024. Please keep up the amazing work. If you're an activist, if you're not an activist, do some activism if you can. If you can't, help the activists with all the support and all the love, and just never stop. Take inspiration from Captain Paul Watson. Decades, and decades. He has never stopped. Think of him when you're feeling down. Think of him when you're wondering if anything could ever change. Think of him when you need inspiration, all right? He's been incarcerated, he's been attacked, he's been everything, and he's still going. And the guy, he's not a spring chicken anymore. Is that a species? He's not a young guy anymore, right? He's still bloody going. What excuse do we have? He started before we were born, and he's still going today. Remember that, guys. Let's take some of that energy into 2025. Let's keep on smashing it. Let's get out there for animals. Let's do everything we bloody can. Let's try and make the world a better place for them. Thank you for watching, guys. Let's do it. Let's get it. Smash it in 2025.